it's
And if you
scary.
look at
I didn't see them going
records of,
past.
De La Fuente and what he's doing with the Spanish team, it's marvelous.
I didn't see them going past Leblé, but they did it, and so it gives cause for concern.
How the money to keep the ball and the French team they were just running around doing nothing.
Very difficult. So welcome once again. Let's look at the Black Stars. So Coach Carlos Queiroz is to put pen to paper on a 2-year deal that will keep him as a Black Stars coach to steer the affairs of the team in especially the AFCON qualifiers and the AFCON tournament itself.
I beg you, if champion producer can get us the speech of the president on Carlos Queiroz when he went, he's in who.
Yes.
He said something on Carlos Queiroz that we should persuade him to come and coach Ghana. Why should we persuade him? For what?
Yeah, that's what I was going to. You seem not to be happy that
no.
We are handing him
but that is what
a 2-year contract.
The FA and the ministry want. So media can't say anything.
For a team that struggled in 2014, knocked out of the group phase, and in 2022 knocked out of the group phase as well, and he managed to get us to the round of 32. You think that he doesn't still deserve a 2-year deal?
No, let me say good morning to all our cherished and affable listeners. We appreciate them so much for spending their Saturday morning with us all the time. It is you that rather make A1 Sports the number one in the region, and we appreciate you so much. Let me say good morning to my headmaster, Mr. Anthony Adimazoya. He's doing the listening.
Yes.
Good morning, Daddy.
Good morning, Eddie.
And to all my colleagues in Big Boss, good morning. If you look at Carlos Queiroz, something small on what he has done in some other African countries that they sacked him. So if you go to when he was coaching South Africa in 2002, he was able to qualify them for the Japan-Korea 2002 World Cup. And then he sent them to AFCON 2002 in Mali. And then in that game, he played 3 games in Mali, scored 3 goals, and conceded 3 goals. With South Africa in the AFCON in Mali, he scored 3 goals and conceded 3 goals. And then when they went to the World Cup, it was a disaster. And then when they came back, they realized that they concede more than they score. So they decided to part ways with him. And then in 2022, he got another stint with the Pharaohs of Egypt. And the Pharaohs of Egypt too, he was able to qualify them for Qatar 2022. As for qualification there, he is good at qualification. But if it is only qualification there, even Otoado can even qualify. Apart from the AFCON that he didn't qualify. If it is World Cup, Otoado, he has qualified twice. So you can't take that one away from Otto. But we are talking about the tournament proper, of which we experienced one recently. So with Egypt, he was the one that sent them to the FIFA Arab Cup. That game, and then they played in the AFCON final too. You remember the final with Senegal that they were eliminated on penalties. In the AFCON, he played 3 games, scored 2 goals, and conceded 1. So 2, conceded 1. In a knockout, he played 3 matches, scored 1 goal, and then scored 1 goal and conceded 3. And he played out of the 5 to 6 matches that he played. So he considered 3 goals there. And then on penalties, they were eliminated. And the Pharaohs realized that, no, this is a coach that is too defensive and will not help us, and they departed with him. So when it comes to qualification, yeah, you can't take it away from him. He's very good at qualification. But in the tournament proper, that is where my focus is. He's not good at scoring goals when it comes to his teams, and we know he is the defensive type, and he's one coach that is a pragmatic coach. Pragmatic coaches do not always want to vary their tactics and change and go to other destiny. They are only defensive. They are not looking at playing the flamboyant game for it to look nice for you to see. They are only interested in getting their win, and then they go. So if the first game we played against Panama, look at how we won. We won finally, but Ghanaians were sitting on tenterhooks, but finally we were able to get our one goal. And then that was where the hope started coming. Ghanaians started realizing that, oh, then it means that we can progress to the next stage if we have been able to pick the 3 points from Panama. And then in our next game, that was where Ghanaians finally said that, oh, Carlos Queiroz is our next coach. He is the one that will take us to the promised land. And then after getting that draw against the English, in fact, that game we played so well, Ghanaians were happy. We got our 4 points. And then against Croatia, we conceded 2 and managed to pull one back. And then against Colombia, that was where some section of Ghanaians realized that no, this man against Colombia, if he had opened up, even you even said it.
Especially when we went one goal down very early in the game.
As at 15 minutes, Ghana were already down. So we felt that let's go all out. Open. What can come, can come. So open and let's see what will happen. Because these Colombians, they are not that, not the usual Colombian that we know.
Maybe it's because of their match against Portugal that got a lot of people scared. But I watched them in the round of 16, and they looked ordinary against Switzerland.
So I was thinking that Carlos will vary his tactics and stop the defensive and open up, and let's see whether we'll be able to get a goal.
But you talked about his things with the Pharaohs and Bafana Bafana. If you look at Bafana Bafana, from when they won the trophy, the AFCON in 1996, came second in 98 in Burkina Faso, and then third in Ghana, Nigeria 2000. Since then, they've struggled at AFCON until Hugo Bruce came in. So, they've not been a side that you can use to determine.
No, but I only wanted our listeners to know that that is
his track record. All right.
With the African team that he has had stints with, he mostly don't score a lot of goals, and even when we think that he had been building a very good defense, he concedes.
But he's very maybe a highly rated coach. For someone who's been an assistant coach.
If you compare him to the coaches that we've hired previously,
yes. If for someone who's been assistant coach to Alex Ferguson at United, the main man at Real Madrid, the biggest club in the world, it tells you that he didn't go well at Madrid.
But all in all, let's give him the support. He said 2 years.
Right.
It's a 2-year deal. So let's give him the support and let's see what will come out of it. For now, the first assignment will be the qualifiers.
The AFCON qualifiers.
Next year's AFCON. Yeah. So let's give him the support and let's see what will come out. But I'm praying that he should be able to still cast the net wider. If we can convince that Chelsea small boy, Josh Champon, to come and play for us, because now we need some of the young guys to we need to fuse them into our team. Our team is, some of the players are gradually becoming aging, and we will need some of the young guys to step in. And so this guy that is at Barcelona, David Odro, at the left back, we should invite that boy to at least come and understudy Gideon Mensah and Baba Rahman, because he's our future left back. So this is the time we should be inviting these young guys, because Ayub Boadi is 18. So why can't you invite Abdulaziz Issa and David Odro from Barcelona to also come and understudy? Why can't you invite 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds playing somewhere to also come and understudy? So that gradually we'll be
We can face out
transitioning them here into the main team.
Yeah. So Carrie has joined us. Carrie, good morning. You think, from what you saw of Carlos Queiroz in the 4 matches at the World Cup, you think he's the right man for the job? Or at least come out to play against?
Cannot be defensive. When England scored against Argentina, I decided to sit back. Look at what happened to them.
But we defended against England, yes. Are you saying that we'll defend against Somalia or Chad or Central African Republic in AFCON qualifiers or even in the AFCON?
People were rather blaming Jordan, Jordan Ayew, and then the rest. You understand? So for me, he's not a bad coach. Giving him a 2-year contract, not a bad idea. I only hope they are not paying him too much money. That very
The
soon
4
will be
months
struggling.
that he spent with us in the World Cup, according to the sports minister, he was taking $80,000.
We now
80,000.
yeah, we're supposed to
That was then.
We're
And
supposed-
this one they were going to increase.
we're supposed to get our own gradually. That's what the plan was, especially with the former administration, and that's how we had PC Apia understudying the expatriate coaches we brought in.
Yes.
Then we handed him the job. He got sacked, so we decided to stick with Ghanaians or Ghanaian related coaches. What has happened?
It didn't work. Clearly, when this British man, what is the name?
Chris Hughton.
Chris Hughton came. I think that was where our struggles started. We were not performing clearly. We brought Otuado back. He managed to do some magic for us to get back to the World Cup. Yes, even with
Our
that.
the results-
struggles there, it started way back 2019 when we went to Egypt. You remember? Kwesi Appiah and Asamoah Gyan, they are banter. That's where our struggles started.
Yes.
Oh.
So it's like clearly we don't have a clear succession plan when we look. It's beyond just identify a player somewhere and invite the player to come and play for the national. If we don't adopt the Moroccan and the Senegalese and Ivorian style, where
You see,
they influence the movement of the what do you call
Thank
it?
you.
The
Their players.
players. Look, it will help us.
But there's also been talk of DNA. Clearly, that is the topic
the
now. in
DNA
England.
that
we
Bernard
have-
Lepre prepared for us,
Yes.
you know, and they launched it. You know.
Yes,
Where
where
is
is it? We have DNA. If it's
it?
DNA,
It is
we
now in
have-
the shelf.
Yes.
Just we have a lot of dust on it.
Yes. for DNA, you see, look, let's always forget these things we write and put on paper.
Just
That will
dump
not
them
take us
somewhere.
anywhere. Let's face reality. Forget about DNA, whatever. The Moroccans and the Senegalese and they don't have anything called DNA. What they do, they are very, very look. They have agents they can influence to get their boys into bigger clubs in Europe. And the more you get your players into bigger clubs, they will get playing time and they will give you the quality of play you need and give you the performance you want.
And we saw that with the Moroccans at
Exactly.
the World Cup.
And you have seen the Senegal. What failed Senegal and the Ivorians is their coaches.
Yeah,
Coach,
I agree.
especially Senegal. It got to a point. It's like the coach didn't have control of the team, and even selection.
A lot of
Up and down.
yeah.
This small problem. You understand, and these are some of the reasons why sometimes you are forced to bring this expatriate coach because they can control it.
So once we started, Odro, we started a project to get Ghanaians in. That didn't work. We've reverted to the expatriates. A lot of people are thinking that we have some former Black Star players who are into management and probably should be looking at them. People have mentioned the lives of Larry Kingston.
Like he has his own problem with this regime. Remember when he was giving the under
The
17 job,
U17.
and then he came out to complain of a lot of interference. And so he decided to opt out.
He jumped the bus.
And so I think he has his own problems with.
Okay,
this
so
kind
let's
of
look at
regime.
the interference happened with the U17. Does
Yes.
it happen with the Black Stars too? Because with the U17, people want to market their youngsters from their academies or their team, but with the Black Stars,
It's still there. It's still there. The Black Star Management Committee members and the FA top guys, they want their players to be given the call up all the time so that at least they can also get bigger clubs. So it's still there. Just that they'll come out and tell you there's nothing like that, but we know what goes on there. And so some of these things, like you rightly said, we were doing with our own former players, and at a point we realized that things wasn't moving, and so let's revert back to the expatriates and see whether things will change. For Carlos Queiroz, the interference they will not allow you. If you try it, you will leave the job and go. He's a no nonsense man, so they have to be careful with him.
You see, just to add to what, look, indeed, we want to own coach.
yes.
They should aspire
why I
to
want us to
also.
come to
They should aspire to also move outside the corridors of Ghana and Africa. We should be seeing our coaches to boldly stepping out into Europe.
But Sika
Excuse me.
Akuno is in Kenya. Larry Kingston is in Uganda.
He's talking about you.
That's why I said
Akwesi Appiah is in
we should
Sudan.
see them in Europe.
And not Africa.
You are not just Africa. You understand?
Yeah.
Because if you look at Senegal, they have
Habib,
Habib, they have Lamine, is it Lamine Diao also
Yeah.
coaching
Yes.
in Europe?
Yes.
So
So when
they
you
have
have
some of
this,
their
at least
former
they are-
players.
even the terrain also gives you some kind of experience
Yes.
and how to even manage these players. But we'll continue to just sit in our Ghana and some local club in somewhere in Uganda or Kenya, and you want to look. Let's be serious.
Kenya, the likes of Tosca FC, they are doing well in Africa.
Oh, please.
Uh,
If not
Tosca.
because of if not
Tosca.
Tosca FC.
When was the last time you heard a Kenyan club playing in CAF Champions
if
League?
not
Even
see, if not
quarterfinals?
because of the I don't want to say, excuse me to say, they use the uselessness of our house and Kotoko. Who will be sitting here and want to leave Ghana and go and be coaching a team in Kenya?
Hey, Sofa Parker and Tosca
Ah.
FC.
Master,
Just that the
They are
Kenyans, they have money.
well run.
Yeah, oh yeah, they have money. They have money. So
Well run, not just the money.
Hey.
Tosca FC, Sofa Parker and co.
that's what I'm saying. That when you say well run, those places is there are companies that run the clubs.
Yes.
So they have money. Unlike here, no. Apart from BDMA that we know, they have a $3 million sponsorship package from Go First Takwa. how many clubs have these sponsorship packages?
All right. So when you call in, you'll be telling us whether you are happy with Coach Carlos Queiroz taking a 2-year contract to coach the Black Stars or to guide the Black Stars to probably the AFCON.
Look at the way
next AFCON
the
maybe.
minister spoke and the way our president also spoke. It means that they've all agreed and they are happy with Carlos Queiroz extending his stay to continue doing the job for
But
us.
I also want to look at the players. We've been talking of how the coach didn't help the team, but do we have the material currently to have played the kind of ball you wanted us to play at the World Cup?
You see, people have been talking about materials. The materials that we have, it is not Oduro that invited them. It is the coach that invited
But if
them.
you think we had the
And
material, why are
you
you
said
thinking
that
why
these
you
are the
thinking that
players
should
you can
cast-
work with.
Why are you thinking that you should cast his net wide and bring in the likes of Josh Achampong and Cho?
Because there are some players that I think they are in the team. They have been given a lot of opportunities, and we are still not seeing the best out of them. I mentioned a lot of them. Example, Kamadin. Kamadin, we have been given a lot of opportunities. We are not seeing anything.
But Kamadin has the potential, just that he doesn't just work out anytime he comes in.
Potential, he has the potential, but he has proven that he's not the Black Star material. So we have to move on. Look at this guy, Elijah Uzu. We have to move on from Elijah. Even of late, because people are angry with him. So if we give you the opportunity, and it's Black Star, we give you the opportunity, we are expecting that when you come, at least die small for the national team.
All right. Kadri,
Yeah.
you think that
Look at I leave the same.
if Carlos Queiroz finally puts pen to paper on that 2-year deal, he should cast his net wide as what he's saying. And who are some of the players you think we should be trying to convince to come in?
They are there. When Senaya came, look at how he played.
Yeah, Senaya did well.
Yes. So they are there.
After the first game, a lot of guys, during the pre-World Cup matches, a lot of people were not convinced with him. But
Yes.
I think that during the tournament,
He did well.
He did
So it
very
means
well.
that there are a lot of Senayas there.
yeah.
You see, for me, I'll continue to say that our FA needs to do beyond just sitting
And scouting for players.
and scouting. Look, the FA by now should have been having at least 2 or 3 key agents, football that we know in this links. They should have links with. We want this boy to go or this team.
We are hearing that Jerome Opoku wants to join Ohe Mendes agency. So this is where we're expecting the FA to come in and fast track the team so that he can even
I saw some Ghanaians they met Barcelona's president, and they were telling him that if he wants, they can bring him quality players from Ghana. And he was saying, is that so? And they said, yeah.
No, but Barcelona already they have agents in Africa. I always have players for them. So already they have.
All right, so my panelists be that yes, it's almost a done deal for Coach Carlos Queiroz, but then he should be.
You know that Barcelona recently they signed one Gambian ball, 18-year-old ball. Even last season, I think the last 2 games they introduced him. So they have scouts maybe in Africa.
All right, so let's have a look at
If the Adabraka eldest boy, Ivan Abrapa, is joined Sevilla, so it means that they have agents around.
let's look at the Black Stars performance at the World Cup. President Mahama thinks that the Black
They
Stars,
exceeded
they
expectation.
exceeded expectation, and the Black Stars should start preparing for the 2030 World Cup in NS. He doesn't want that we'll get to the 2030 and then we'll still be struggling to find out who is our best 11 and which players will be making it to the Black Stars. For me,
he's talking about consistency.
For me, I agree with him that we exceeded expectation, especially looking at how we played just before the tournament proper. Yeah, we especially when we lost some key players in the team. Kadri, preparing for the 2030 from now, you think that that's the way to go for Ghana?
Exactly. If indeed we want to make in the next World Cup, but it continues, not starts.
Okay.
It continues now. It will continue. And the FA should have a clear-cut plan. Please, even though we know from now to that time, it's like 4 years or so. But the young ones we have, just as Mr. Bobby said, there are still young ones we can still scout and monitor their
progress.
and development, their progress, and see how we integrate them into our national team. Quite apart from
And
it,
as you said, also looking at determining where they play and when they get playing
yes,
time.
you understand. Sibo, the club Sibo played. I think they've relegated.
He's showing he has offers from other clubs now.
Exactly. We should have been looking at even if not La Liga, if he's not getting a club from La Liga, we should look at
Liga.
Yes, Liga.
He's saying he has offers from EPL.
Exactly. So that he move in. Let's see. As for Sana, if he doesn't get a big club in playoffs,
So my problem is injured. No club will sign and get
the injury is temporary.
That's my problem with Senegal.
But apart from Senegal, also Jerome who did very well.
Yes.
And then,
They are offers. I think they are steady.
yeah,
They are still
Alan
steady.
gets multiple back, so he might want to stay.
I did it.
And
And I'm getting Abdul Fattah Shaku to Ipswich Town.
Ipswich
Yes,
Town.
and some Turkish clubs too.
It's
Also.
monitoring
But I
that.
think the Ipswich will not be bad.
Yeah.
I think they've also qualified for the Premier League.
So
I think for Ipswich, it's really a place where he can make a mark.
Oh yes, you play. Yes, you play all the time.
Exactly. And maybe from there he might even be moving to another big club.
And already Thomas Brandon Asante is also coming to play in the EPL for Coventry.
So you see,
Oh yes, so
clearly the young guys that were introduced into the team that had playing time, they were coming 18 clubs. And I just hope
Johnson
Ghana-
has also joined Cologne. So it's good for us.
So let's see how the next AFCON, which I think next year, right?
Yes, next year. Yeah.
Let's see how this
Senegal,
season,
Uganda,
this new
and-
season comes.
and-
If we're able to make their mark in their various leagues, we should see it reflect in the next AFCON.
Yes.
If we're able to do something in the next year, we know that
Increase
we are now
confidence
yes,
going forward.
but if we better them again and go to the AFCON and it becomes a disaster again.
For now, we should be looking at how we can qualify for the AFCON. Which I
Oh,
think
for
we will
quality,
qualify. We will qualify.
Alright.
Yeah, but
What the president said. Now to 4 years, if you have a player who is 20 years, in 4 years you will have been 24. If you have a player who is 22, you will have been 26. And that probably should be his prime.
that is why I was saying that some of the players that we think they pass their prime, we should move on. Especially Jordan Ayew, move on. But Jordan is
24.
34. So in the next 4 years, 32. Jordan
And he's not Messi,
is
so-
out. Oh yeah, he's not Messi. So Jordan is definitely moving out. But party like this, 32, we should move on. But if I take 32 now, next 4 years, 36. I don't
They
think.
come with experience. I think they did very well. I was pleasantly surprised that they did
But we should be
all-
looking for a replacement for him.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because if Ayew what they did, it's bossing them from Morocco like this.
That's why
18-year-old boy.
why I wanted Salim Adams to be at this.
Okay, he has joined Al Hilal now. Let's play that. We'll make an impact in the CAF Champions League. But you see, one problem that coaches is that they also don't like looking at Ghanaian players playing in the African continent. It's like if you are playing on the African continent, you're not good enough.
But let's go back to President Mahama. It's what we have always said, but we failed to act. In 1996, when Ghana went to the Olympic Games in Atlanta, it was a disaster. When they came home, then I know the chef division, the late George Dasore, were staying in the same quarters in North Anish in Accra. He lived in A and we lived in so, and it was like my father's, I don't know how to put it, whether my father's friend or yeah, he knew my father right from school, and because he was into sports, and my dad was also into. My dad was a javelin athlete and a shot put athlete. So, and he was with the Ministry of Sports, so he knew my dad right from there. So that's how come. When it was a chef division in 1996. When they went and came back, it was a disaster. They brought him on what was it, Talking Point, then hosted by the venerable this man. No, Talking Points. Who used to happen every Sunday.
Yes,
I'll get it for you.
The person you're talking about is he a sports person?
He's a sport. He was with us. Usually he was a house person. He was with Senate also. He even had cases.
Lawyer.
Lawyer.
Lawyer. Oh, let me get it for you. Lawyer.
Oh, he's an anything man. You know, Obama's first term. He was the MD for Senate. Yes. So he said that if you really want to make a mark in the Olympics, if you wanted to make a mark in say 2000, you just start preparing from 1990s when we came back from Atlanta. That didn't happen. Sydney became a disaster. 2004 in Athens and Greece, same thing. The Beijing,
That was
same
the
thing.
last time we even played in
Now the president is just saying, are we going to see action or just going to be talk? And that's it.
you have to see action, and everything boils down to the FA. Everything boils down to the FA. That's why I'm saying that let's take a holistic view at our team. There are some players that, if you want to project into the next 4 years, we will have to move on from those players, especially those that are aging, and begin to bring in the young ones. As of now, I don't understand why a boy like Abdulaziz Issa is not part of the Black Stars. You should be understanding him. You remember Abdulaziz Issa? Yes, in under 20, we know what the black boy can do. I know that he's not getting a lot of playing time in the Basabi team. But if we can, like Kadri said, if the FA can move him on and he can get some of the class in the French League.
Even in this man, the likes of Giroud now, they
Thank you. We can move him on so that he can get a lot of playing time, so that he can be playing. But we need the boy in the Black Stars.
need to play to have a lot of confidence to come and
Thank
play.
you.
Everybody is doing well
But
because
he's playing for him.
he plays consistently.
Thank you.
Sabari, play last season,
For
played
PSV.
consistently for
PSV.
PSV. So if I can play against the likes of Ayaz,
But look at the Moroccan first 11. Almost all their players are playing. They are playing. If you take Mazraoui, he's playing for Man U. If you take Kanous is playing for Stuttgart. They are playing.
Onana was playing for
Asamoah was playing for Girona. And yes, so almost all the players, Achraf Hakimi is playing. Bono is playing. Their players are playing. So that's what we want. We don't want our players to be sitting on the bench. I'm happy Osman Bukhari has moved from MLS to back to West Ham Belgrade. We get a lot of playing time. So we should see most of our guys moving to, even if it is even first tier or second tier, where you can get a lot of playing time. It's the best rather than being in the first team, top tier teams, and you warming the bench. That will affect our national teams. And so the preparation there, I agree with His Excellency that we should start now. But we should start winning, like we should take some of our old players off and bring in some of the young guys. So from now up to the next 4 years, they'll be mature to play in the World Cup for us. If not that, and when we still stick with the old guys, we will still have a lot of work to do.
we still have a lot of work to do. So last on this, I think that we should also be looking at our youth teams. And not just only the Black Stars.
You know, let me be frank with you. This is a collapse. Another factor that we have overlooked is the collapse of the national sports college.
Okay.
Since the collapse of the national sports college, we have struggled at the. You understand?
And not just necessarily the
Yes, you know that's also one of the factors that we also. If you clearly, the
The last time I went to Winnipeg, if you look at where they train, even when they sleep, full stop. So it's not good.
so the issue is that
should we just go and copy the Moroccan model?
The You have money.
Moroccan model.
You have money. The Moroccan money comes with money.
It needs
Because they invested $10 million. It's not ready to invest $10 million.
It's the commitment by the central government, not the FA.
Not the central government though. The king. It's the king's project.
The king is in charge of the country. That's the government.
Okay.
You understand? You get it. So it's based on the commitment of the country, the taxpayers, those persons.
Let's move away from it. But also remember that because he's the king, people complain in Morocco. When you push it, people complain. They are not seeing the result. But because he's a monarch, it didn't go anywhere. If you have a president pushing that kind of money into football,
Yes.
and people begin to complain, you might drop. Because it's not a monarch like we have in Morocco.
But you know, in Ghana,
Look at the number of protests that went on in Mexico.
Yes.
After the World Cup.
they were looking at a lot of money they pushed into football. The immediate thing will not bring it in. They are forgetting that the people that are going to come in will invest, even indirectly, back into the economy of the Mexico Africa. But you see, what we need to do now is see how we limit agents from influencing coach selections when it comes to the youth.
That one will stop. You know why? Because we are not ready to pay our dignity coaches. And if we are not paying them, how are we expecting them to be taking care of them?
All right. So that means we're away from this. Oh my God. This is my more money. Okay. So now, Black Wings coach, I think last season, his players are in top shape and ready for the 2026 WAFCON in Morocco. They were 10 the last time around. Probably. I think we can go to final.
Yes, now you know that this WAFCON is the qualification to the World Cup. And so this time around, we will have to put in that same or even more. That's how we prepared them for the bronze the last time. We have to even double it so that at least we can get the qualification. I'm happy that last week they played the Ivorian women's team. Then we managed to beat them 1-0 in Morocco.
That's very, very
And so now the Ivorians, their women's team, they are also
yes, surprised.
They should be surprised because now we played the WAFCON will be qualification for the women's cup women's championship. It is a second ladies that won our zone. So it means that they are doing something there and it's yielding results. We beat them 1-0 by courtesy of Sharon Simpson. Her father is there. Under 20 women's coach. So you see where the linkage is. You see, so if your father is under 20 women's coach, you will be dropped. You are already playing well. It's going to be dropped.
If she's playing well.
She's doing well. She's doing well. So, but I want you to know how our national teams, how the teams are. So we beat them 1-0. They managed to arrange another game with the Super Falcons. But at the last hour, they came out to say, due to some reasons beyond their control, they can't play that game. So I was thinking if we could play them. They are the favorites. And so if you can play them for now, at least so you see your so but it will be. But Kinglas and the girls, they are preparing so well. And I know the quality that we have in our team. Almost all the girls that played in the last WAFCON, they are all here. And we have even added some new girls. The likes of Sharon wasn't part of the last WAFCON. Now she's in. Benedict Simon, that's right back from Servette FC. So she has also joined. So she's also playing so well.
Patience.
Thank you. So we have some girls that have joined. And as for the women's side, I always got my heart out for this Richard Getz and his team. They are doing so well there. Because we seem to the black maidens are doing so well. The World Cup, black princesses, they qualified for the World Cup. So and the queens are also doing so well. So the women's team, the under 15s, black themselves, they also defended their cup in their school tournament. So they are doing so well there. So the women's football strategy seems to be working. I don't know why the men's football strategy seems to be working. They are doing nothing. When was the last time the 17 qualified? And the 17 last less qualified for the World Cup. The last time the 20 qualified for the World Cup. The last time we qualified was the COVID year. I'm sure it's fine. But God, we didn't play. Since then, we're struggling. And I don't think that the top. The last time was 2004. So now we talk about the black stars of late even qualified for problem. So I think Getz for the women's side, they are doing so well. And Oliver Twist will always continue to ask for. But for Kinglas and the girls, we are praying for them that at least they should be able to get the qualification tickets for us and also go past the bronze stage. And even if not that we winning the title, at least to play the final. People thinking that qualification for the World Cup should be a motivation for the girls. It's in a sense we qualify for the World Cup.
Yeah, I think so. You look at it last year, 2018, eliminated at
When we hosted them.
in 2022. We couldn't even qualify for the WAFCON. And the last edition which happened in 2020, we won bronze. You understand? And looking at the couple of players we have now, we still have a chance to make it, if not to the final, the last one, which obviously will prevent the World Cup league.
All right.
I'm only disappointed. Nora, or Chelsea, who would have won it WAFCON. So I think King is doing well. Nora is also struggling with the sometimes the material. That's what I'm saying. Looking at the materials we had, looking at the formation,
that team is not really aging. But is very aging. They've not been able to replace some of the aging stars. And because the team gets to a point and definitely this begins to set. This is not the first one for you. So even when the tournament started, we saw the protection Ghana got from major media outlets abroad. After Ghana drew with England, Wednesday, Sky Sports, CSBN, CNN, all of that. We also covered Ghana. And even gotten Kuba Sam's issue and all of that.
So sometimes you see why we play against the best.
Yes.
The reason why I don't really like when we are preparing or we are calling for friendly match, when we play some look, call the big boss, play them. Also, they know to play. Yes.
But people are back and maybe the back side, I don't know. So we don't have to check. But there are limits.
How did you say?
Oh,
yes, but it guns, but me don't listen. And progress me, will not get it. Yes, but change. Look, these players make outside country. The money is very young. Into the countries. Business.
It's the usual names, the usual athletes that they are going to compete for us. Look at the list is called we have Abigail Ogri for 800 meters. We have Chambo also doing 100 meters and 400. Then we have Amida FIFA also athletics doing 200 meters and 4x1. We have Yvonne Bitting. Yvonne Bitting was part of the senior athletics championship that were held recently at the University of Ghana. She being 100 meters hurdle and 4x100 meters for us in athletics. We have Lovina Ewusi also doing 400 meters hurdle for us and also 4x1. Rose Yabwa Amuma, who is also one of our customers, will be doing the high jump for us. And then Joe Palama will be 200 meters and 4x1. 100 meters and 4x1. Mustafa Bokun will be 200 meters and 4x1. Ezebocho will be 200 meters and 4x1. David Vaz will be 200 meters and 4x1 meters. We have Baba Seydou Mahmoud will be 400 meters hurdle. We have Abdulrashid Samin will be doing 100 meters and also 4x1. Zinabu Isa is a para athlete. She will be doing shot puts and for Ade is also a para athlete who also be doing 100 meters. We have Bocho Nkebe who is also a para athlete will be doing 1500. And then we have a tall list of boxers, cyclists, para powerlifting. We have para swimming, judo. We have weightlifting. We have 4 athletes doing weightlifting for Ghana. The likes of Yaya Akos will be doing 58 kg. Abuzi Abdul Salim Adede will be doing 110 kg. Emmanuel Abu Batin will be doing 71 kg weightlifting. And then lastly Christopher Osei Foster will be doing 94 kg in weightlifting. So you know there are 40 member contingent that will be going to Glasgow. And definitely I am very hopeful that they will come home with a lot of medals. I think the last time in Birmingham we were able to come with I think 12 medals or so. So this time around I'm praying that we'll go past the 12 medals and come with possible 20 medals. But I believe it's also in some extent low my expectation, but at least we should be getting more than the 12 medals that we got in the last Commonwealth Games. As for Commonwealth Games, we seem to be getting a lot of medals. The only game there the competition is very tough. It's all about preparation. It goes back to preparation. Do you know that if you go to China age 6 are taking these young lads to US to go and learn how to swim. So they are projecting into the next 8 years. They'll come and be swimming for them and be winning medals. Now, are we in a position to do that? We don't do that. So we should be expecting medals. Yes, let me check the numbers. We are what happened? Why can't we boxes? Why can't we do 10 boxes? Why can't we do something? Why can't we at least maintain it? There are two things I see. Also, like what? The bureaucracy. Now, a lot of bureaucracies. We are being encountered a lot of bureaucracies when it comes to that. Today you cannot organize any boxing match if you are not an agent of WBA, GBA, what you and even the GBA itself. Every day they are fighting every day problems. So look, the guys are not able. Now that all these problems that they went in the box out, a lot of them came and died. And that's where no, even the problems. I know what's my the moment the guy came and died. They said we were waiting for you. We show you where the place. They just use that capitalize on that trying to. So it's about the individual interest rather than developing the sports. So because of that, our guys, look, now that we have boxing idea, we also have boxing idea. We're winning medals, winning boxing bouts. So it gets down. Look for some corners somewhere between training. Now we have the facilities. We have the facilities that should give us even world champions. This is the time like this. Now we have the boxing league. Right. No, that we are still starting. Let's move on. I think about former skipper, as coach. I want to talk about this and link it up with your new coach as well. For new coaches, they always like that. Especially, I don't know the season. Supporters will go to train ground. They don't want to be GFA will pass their paying his money. We'll go to gas. Later we'll start. Let's imagine this. Look, if you think you don't have to focus with the payment for the program, and you go for another extra again. You had to use maybe Sunday will get it. So they just go and bring coaches. Supporters that in my play, you contribute. You know, Europe, it's the supporters that run the clubs because match days, the stadium will fill to capacity. The gate process alone, much more. That is what they use to run the clubs. Here you go for a cash stadium. If a fan will come after watching, you go and stand at the VIP where the bars, the players will go the bars, and the players will get him something. Yes. That's happening in Accra here. In Ghana, let me say in Ghana generally. You find supporters come to the stadium. Instead of them to pay enter, they will enter free, watch the game. After that, they will come out again, stand by where the players will board the bars, and expect some players and management to give them something. And these same people organize each other. Go to what do you call it? Training ground. I said, you know when the coach comes and sees the pick, lock the gate. What is it? I wish both coaches well. I said, I suppose this team has been ready. You have the best team. It's results they need, and you must give them the results. If you don't give them the results, you will be found wanting. I'm still trying to come to terms with how to put with because I felt that he did a wonderful work for them, and it's immediate to continue. But after saying that they don't want the leadership. If you want the leadership, is it Musa Kaku? How do you do the leadership? Musa Kaku, the former coach of Bidoma, and we know the work he did there. So I don't know what they see with him, but they agreed with him that he should come take over from Bidoma. I don't think nobody can convince me that Musa Kaku is a better coach than Bidoma. I'm telling you. But I know that he has also been Ghana before he has come to that's what I was saying. Now at least he's an additional year, just one. More. So now after what I'm doing, so we see that they are now going back. So what is that? They're going for former Sam Boy as their Sam coach now. So this is the new, and then the best trainer for out of today. The new team now. We wish them all the best. The new team yesterday. I think former captain. He said that he has got 30 years coaching experience. He has coached most of the big clubs in South Africa, the likes of Orlando Pirates, of which in 2013 he played the Champions League final. He was assistant coach then for Orlando Pirates. The head coach then was Roger Desa, who is now assistant coach for Black Stars. He was the coach for Orlando Pirates then when they lost to Ali in 2013 in the final. And then in 2015 he picked Orlando Pirates team and then went to the Confederation Cup final with them. That time it was Tim Lawo was the head coach, and then they lost the Confederation Cup to Etoile du Sahel of Tunisia. And then to look at his record, he's not a coach that has won a lot of trophies, but he's more of a developmental coach. And now I think Kotoko is also moving towards a new direction. So I want to tell my Kotoko this morning that they should lower their expectation because Kotoko is also moving at a new direction now. They want to develop their players and also sell. That's the moment they want to go now. But I'm not saying trophies won't come in. I don't like the trophies for who bring them, but we should lower expectation for now. But the technical director, Per Menzo, that they brought in, is also more of a developmental coach. And they brought in head coach is also a developmental coach. That should tell me that they are not looking at trophies anytime soon. They are looking at developing the Kotoko team and then bring them to the senior team and also develop some of the young guys in the Kotoko team now. And then the season starting on Monday for Kotoko. I'm hoping that Kotoko will be the same. But very soon they'll be starting on the weekend of 4th, 5th, and 6th September. So this season I've started for almost all the big clubs. And so we wish him all the best, but we should lower our expectation for now. Okay, let's look at the Division 1 Super Cup. How will be different things to the 18th of August? Yes, you know, this particular tournament was introduced by the FA to prepare the new clubs that have gained qualification to the GP. I'm talking about those that are coming from the Division 1 from all the zones. So zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. We know that for zone 1, it was David United that qualified from zone 1. They beat out in the final match. And then for zone 2, we know that it is FC Ashanti Gold 04. So they qualified from zone 2. They played their games at the English Sports Stadium. Then in zone 3, we know that it was Port City that qualified from zone 3. So this is kind of new tournament that they have to always put together to prepare the class that have just gained qualification to the GPL. And it has always proven to be an eye-opener, and it also prepares their team well. So the team that will play in zone 1A and zone 1B, David United and Diamond City, they'll be playing. Zone 2, we have FC Ashanti Gold 04. They post Mysterious zone 1, they'll be playing zone 2. Zone 3, we have Port City and Control Sympathy, they'll be playing zone 3. And then the third best, they picked some third best teams. They picked Acham Visa also joining, and they picked Sopon Fidelity. They have also picked them, so they are also joining. So you know there are 8 teams. No, but you see, so these 8 teams are the ones that they qualify to play in the Division 1 Super Cup, and the venue is the Legacy Sports Stadium. It's going to start on the 10th of August to 18th. And I told you the league is starting on the weekend of 4th, 5th, and 6th September. So it's going to be a very good exercise for our teams.
All right, good exercise for our teams. Going into both the Premiership and the Division 1. We'll have some time to be able to have some game time, practice more players as well. So it's a good exercise for the teams involved.
Already, I hope you heard that the new teams that are qualified, Port City, and a lot of money. You know, they signed Christopher Eni, the former coach of Samatex. He's now going to be the head coach of Port City, and the assistant is going to be former Kotoko midfield Metro, Jordan Opoku. Remember, he's going to be assistant to Christopher Eni at Port City. And they signed the Yoda, former player of Wafa. He was playing for Hamilton FC in Canada. I think he gave a free agent and they brought him in. So the Yoda has joined Port City. So fans will be seeing the Yoda, good old Yoda, who was playing with Otete Wake. He got for the title that he played for Port City this season, and he signed other players as well. If you look at FC Ashanti Gold, they also have money. So it looks like the team that are qualified, apart from David, they have their own side this thing, but FC Ashanti Gold and Port City, they seem to be coming in with a lot of money. You know that FC Ashanti Gold have signed 2 foreigners. They've signed one Togolese defender. Let me get you the names. And they've signed one Burkinabe as well. The Burkinabe is called Benjamin Kabor. They qualified with their talks are far advanced. They want to sign Kotoko winger. This guy, the short guy, no, that was playing for. I forgot it. I'll get you the name. Who came from? I'll get you the name. They want to sign him. He's not a free agent. Kotoko is releasing him. Let me try and get the name for you. I'm talking about this guy. What is the name, self? Pitami Duakwa.
Okay.
Yes, he's on the verge of joining FC Ashanti Gold. Now, his contract has ended with Kotoko, and he wants to join FC Ashanti Gold. So that should tell you that they mean business. So WB2 have also started recruiting. So they are doing so well. I am happy that it's not like the old teams that would qualify and would sit down and say they did not get ample time to prepare.
Only amassed 15 points.
Thank you. This time around, the new team that have gained promotion, you know, they seems to be doing so well. They have the money, and so they are pumping in the money, and they are ready to compete.
All right. So let's look at you've already talked about some of the transfers. So let's continue with some of the local transfers we've had.
Yes, we for Midiema, we know that they've released Ali Adams to Al Hilal on Roman, and then in fact, good money for Midiema. The money it's between $300,000 to $400,000.
Good money. But
it's good money.
They are releasing one of their
key guys,
and they'll be going into
Africa. So. But the problem with our Ghanaian teams is that always when we qualify for Africa, these top teams in Africa will come with their money. Some mouth-watering offers that you can't simply turn a blind eye to, or you can't reject. For Midiama to get like 400 plus, it's good money. It was the same amount they got for Jonathan Zoa when they sold him to Singida Black Stars in Tanzania. So they are getting some money there. And they've brought in Eche Dogli from Heart of Lion to come and replace Salim Adam. So you see what they are doing. So I'm beginning to be worried as a Kotoko player. If Midiama is doing or picking all these boys, and that should tell you they want to defend their league trophy. So Kotoko has, if they are sleeping, they should wake up. So they brought in Eche Dogli in their fold. I've told you that FC Ashanti Gold, they've brought in 2 foreigners, and they are still in the process of bringing in more to come and augment their team. Port City, they have signed Moch, Christopher Eni from Samatex, and they brought in Jordan Opoku as the assistant. They brought in Gideon Weja. They signed other guys, of which I'll get the name for you later. If you look at Samatex, they are also on the verge of signing Nana Okuajimai, coach of Visionary. Yes, he's also on the verge of joining Samatex. So it's like our coaches are just doing very go round. So Nana Okuajimai is also joining Samatex. For Kotoko, they have their new coach, Eric Tinkler. For Kotoko now, definitely the usual yearly ritual will go on. Some players will go, some will come. Already, there are some players in Kotoko that their contract have ended, that they've released them. I'm talking about Herienzu, the defender. His contract has ended. He has already left. Mohamed Kamara, the goalkeeper, he has already left. Samba O'Neill has also joined Sekukune United in South Africa. he has also left. Baba Yaya, his contract has ended. We are hearing that he's also on the verge of joining Indiana Stars. The likes of Joseph Abodi, his contract was terminated. Elvis Chebafo Awuche is likely to be released. Emmanuel Enki is 50-50. I'm hearing that the technical director said is to give him one more opportunity. He wants to see because what he heard of the boy when he was moving from Olympics to Kotoko, that's not what he has seen him in Kotoko doing. So he wants to give him another opportunity for us to see Emmanuel Enki whether he will be able to improve. Marufin Donzo, I am hearing that it's likely that they will release him because the technical director said that the amount of money he is taking every month, that is not the work that he's doing for Kotoko. That is not equal to the quantum of work that he's doing for Kotoko, and so he should improve. Otherwise, he's likely to be released. Isaac Mita, as for Isaac Mita, it was a loss for Kotoko. Kotoko signed him. He did not play even any competitive game. He was nursing GR, and so he's likely to be released. Francis Aqua is on the list. We bought him from Bechem United. He was their left back. But when he came, it's not as if he's not a good player, but the kind of competition that he met at the left back position, Patrick Asiedu is playing so well, and so it wasn't easy for him. So he did not get a lot of playing time. So it's likely that he might be released. And then for Johnson upon the take one more opportunity, he has 1 year left on his contract. That Saka Dawda too, 1 year left on his contract. The technical director wants one more opportunity. Abetamo, you know, it's a free. Kotoko got him on loan. So after the I'm told is that if Kotoko do not hurry, we could snap him and take him to Africa. So Kotoko, they should be up and doing. Otherwise, at the time, so these are the speculations going on. Ediana, you know that coach Samuel Bodu has joined Ediana now from the Kum Chelsea. So he has even started preseason with them and he's doing so well. The Ediana was also parted ways with some players. Coach Rediawa, one of their defenders, has left.
Not T3.
No TV3. You know that the old TV3 has passed on.
Oh,
he died. I think 2 years ago.
oh.
The Kotoko TV3 he has passed on.
Oh, okay. So you can call in now 038-091-508.
So the Yeboah guy was Mediana. His contract ended and they've released him. Ben Sidibe, they had one Burkinabe guy was with Ediana. You know, Shoba Haristika has signed for a club in Zimbabwe, Power Dynamos. So he's going to coach them. So that boy is joining them there. So that is the latest.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. This is
Okay. All right, Sammy.
I want to tell about what people said. The coach me. If you have been in for 2 years, the problem is that that's the small boys there. Don't you confirm? Look at the way they did to England. They were making cutter. That's what they scored. Let's score England 1 day. If you score 1 day, you are making cutter. The best problem is that it's not that matter. Not about me. Young one said, that's our coach. It's good. Keep them away. They want to score. They want to go to keep on bringing coaches from wherever, like coaches, and they're performing, qualify and win. What the work is, what the play work around.
Okay,
so you think that they're not here to qualify. You not get to go and qualify for us.
All right. All right, thank you very much, Sammy.
Talk to me.
Thank you very much, Sammy. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, okay. So, yes.
So
Hello.
Yes. Oliver.
So, what players will they bring to be able to compete there?
You brought experts from South Africa.
Because this season, we don't want to take away the last season. Look at the first match in the country, and then I told you, and truly, I do not be there, and I'm going to
all right, thank you very much for calling in. So next we go to the World Cup. FIFA has broken the tradition of World Cup matches, and the World Cup that receive NFL out
Rings.
rings. So there will be a half that we have.
Even they also please for the fans. I've seen 1,990 rings for the fans to buy.
Okay.
So the plan for the plan will be selling. So it won't be bought. So I know I'm getting from. So this halftime show in the Super Bowl, that's going to be
They play up and they're football. So
I'm going to even that game. Team 6 wins. I think what comes in the range. With the series scored 13 goals, only one. That's win Argentina 14 and 7. That should tell you that we need to so see how they concede. In this time they conceded only one.
They breach once against Belgium.
Thank you. And Argentina they conceded. So if you compare it from the two, it means that Spanish defense is high up there. And Pogba has been doing all nothing. And then he's been a revelation of the tournament. Played so with Laporte at the back. With Kukurela to play with Kukurela for Madrid this season. But he's also had a very big tournament. And that's why the Barca fans not happy when he joined Real Madrid. They've lost something.
I asked myself why De La Fonte didn't come with Neymar, but I think Kwasi showed that
Yes.
they don't need Neymar at all.
He's only 19.
It's only 19.
Yeah.
Sometimes these are the things here.
It's only 19 and
So let's go to the third and fourth place game, which will be happening today.
France, England. These two teams or countries too. They have rich history. In fact, it's also tight. We look at the number of games that they played. In all friendlies and in World Cup, England they have upper hand 17 wins as against France 10 wins. So in all competitions, both friendlies and competitive games, England seems to have the upper hand. But look at this tournament too. England they've played so well. The French team too, they've also played so well. Don't forget they were all eliminated in the semi-final. Just like look at how the English team were eliminated.
French are the best team in the competition. I still think that.
You sure?
Yes.
No, it's Sagabo, because if you are saying the best attack, they agree with you, but they are not the best team. They are not the best team. People argue with you, they are not the best team. Best attack there is the French team, but they are not the best team. If they are the best team, to be in the final now.
No. Sometimes things happen in
Was it hard luck?
Sometimes things happen. No, they didn't just come to party in that game
Thank you very much.
against the Spaniards. And so and things happen in football.
It means that the parties did not in the finals.
It also means that the players did not just turn up in the semi-final.
Oh yes, it's also true. It's so true. If you remember the comments that the Man City boy made, I'm talking about Ryan Cherki after the game when he was asked by the journalist. He said they asked him about the ref. He said, "Did we score that the referee denied that goal?"
Is it also a thing of psyche? Because the Spaniards have been on top against the French. They beat them in Euro 2024 semi-final, beat the Nation League in the final. And so going into that game against them,
and De La Fonte had not lost a game against the DJ Deschamps team.
In 2024, I was very confident that the French beat them because we saw that French team. They didn't turn up for 80 minutes against Argentina in the final in 2023. But when they turned up in the last 10 minutes, we saw what happened. Yeah. So I thought that they didn't win the World Cup, but they were one of the best teams. So they were going to win the Euros. Spain stopped them, and I thought that the Spain this is the one of
the one Senegal team. They realized that the France team it's all about if you are able to put
hello.
Yes, I like what the game is.
Okay.
That is 2 seconds.
Okay, so
France and the last was in so miss again is another cup. Let's stop.
He was because
that was
so. It was semi-final and final, and they couldn't just get their hands on the whole league. So Tico was brought in to finally get them there.
Have you heard what Donald Trump put together?
No.
Hey, no. You are and you want to have event.
I was surprised that after so well, close to 16 minutes against you were dominated, you were on top.
Yes.
And all of a sudden after scoring one, you didn't go and sit back and allow the Yeah. Why Argentina was missing the balls? And that's it. What of course, but after the balls, it hit the rim of the. There was one who got to the before save.
So
You saw that.
tell me how you went to something.
Hello. Yes.
I want to contribute to
Okay, sir. Hello. Okay.
Yes, I want to talk about the Argentina strength of Argentina.
Yes.
If you look at the synergy, it's like it's horrible. If you observe Argentina against it, after Egypt scored 2 goals, you say pressure. The opposed pressure they have on Egypt. Analysts Egypt 3-2. Same thing happens to England. You start at the beginning, England will play. Somewhere 75th goal, Argentina opened up. A lot of pressure on England. So tomorrow, it's like Argentina is going to carry. But if you look at the quality of players in the team, it's like it's matchable. So if you are a football lover and somebody who really wants to speak the truth, tomorrow there's no doubt that Argentina is going to carry.
I said that. Hello. All right. I said that's something. So Argentina, I was just scoring my very.
They say that it's an end of system of putting that can work. It's not like before that I was sorry. The team model. You was saying about Argentina having oh that's the football. But before I do that, can people do this? Because I was worried. I wasn't seeing.
The team has brought in them of players for this.
No, good idea. According to the coach, good is a champion in the team. And good idea, jumping fast so that preseason you come and join the team so that you start with him.
Bergvall might leave for Tottenham.
But the bid for him had rejected. But maybe they will get improved over. They signed Sandro Tonali. 100 million. I believe the
I'm telling you that now, if 50 million is a starting that, 50 million.
And the market spoil. Sandro Tonali. Look at even Matheus Fernandes. They bought him also, I think, 80 million. So Tottenham, they are doing.
That's why you run away.
That's what, but Chelsea, what they want to do to us now, we are not happy.
Well,
Chelsea want to hijack our do for Manu Kone. Chelsea, they have to be careful with us. Manu Kone.
You go and
you know that I wanted to that deal with Edison. It's off.
Yes.
So now we now set our eyes on Manu Kone because of how he is playing for the French team. Chelsea want to hijack.
Yes. Because you keep talking with that accent. Sometimes you need to go in fact before they hear.
But we signed Yuri Telemans and then
29-year-old.
but he's fantastic. You know how play for last season.
What happened?
If man can't go to Chelsea, I'll be surprised. We don't want to play Champions League football. I never play Champions football. If you go to Chelsea, you don't need to play.
No, the place in place.
But also you know the claim of Alonso, he will attack a lot of players in the football. But I have Christoph Cholas from Club. He's very good. He's a lot of good for Club. I mean that he's coming to replace Sandro Tonali. Yeah, join the Sharks.
I'm surprised.
I'm surprised if they can't allow that boy to leave like that. No. I think that okay. Sinna was obvious. Sinna won. In fact, the first set, Alexander Zverev picked the first set.
You thought
6-6. So I felt that if Zverev had been able to pick the first set 7-6, he went to tie break, then he won 7-6. Then Sinna bounced back, winning the second set. And then I saw Sinna winning the third set. That was where I said, oh, then it's over. If Sinna had been able to win,
but Zverev has always been a near man.
He always lacked to this.
And even when he won the Roland Garros, people have said it was Karas.
That was true. When Karas did not play, Sinna was out the line, knocked out by one man was Cerundolo, the Argentine. No, the other guy is Argentine, Francisco Cerundolo, and one man was Cerundolo. He knocked Sinna off in the French Open. And so when Sinna went off and because also went off, I felt there was now an open counter. Nobody at all. Right. And then he won. Now we're preparing for the US for the outside where Linda Noskova won maiden Grand Slam title as against Karolina Muchova. And so this time they are preparing for US Open. US Open is going to start on the 29th of August. And it will enter into September, mid-September. And so definitely, we're looking for that's why I want to see Coco.
That Czech Academy. You know, think that we should partner with them so that they help us with some rackets and so we also groom.
But
tennis courts at the midfield school. Yes. Right. So
I even know money.
Also, to the end of the program. We'll have to enjoy news now for news. We'll see you tomorrow. for sports chat at 2 p.m. Then we'll have the final at Condisba, aka step by step. All right, so you
go to a Supreme Court challenge. If you are able to see that the squad administration that is stamina, it will be stuck out. And that to be now the bills that have been put in place are such that they are supposed to ensure fairness, transparency, expedition, efficiency, and efficiency. And now it will be about saying that the power of the future, the judiciary, is a power that emanates from the people. So we are saying as big back to people to be part of the judicial system, such some of which around the judiciary rule. So that citizens will express public position in administration of the civil institution of public hospitals, the jury and system. That's why we have the influence of criminals. Analysts must not necessarily be members of the judiciary, must not lawyers, but ordinary members that will be able to administer things in all the truth. Now, you know the jury system. Essentially, in the UK, they try to go away with the jury system. The lawyers were against it. The Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister for Justice used so much vocal out to move the jury system. But the lawyers were against it. And the jury system, so in the UK, the problem here, or the issue here is that you are supposed to be tied by this. So can I ask this question? Yes, I'm with you. What I hold in my hand is a report of the Review Commission of Inquiry, June 2012. Is you who was present June the 12th? Okay. So you remember that was announced that the Constitution Review Commission brought this document to us. So that in this document, they have spoken to thousands of Ghanaians, including daddies and everybody else. And they came to the conclusion that the tribunal system should be done away with that. So that now, this is the paper. What it says. Page 20. Maintenance of regional tribunals in the court structure. Government accepts the recommendation that regional tribunals be abolished and matters handled by incorporated into the regular court schedule. That, however, holds the view that the chairman or the chair of the tribunals is able to be sworn into the judiciary as high court judges. How do you reconcile this with this position now? As of 2012, the issues that we are talking about to be handled by the tribunal system were not prevalent then. The issues of etc. were not prevalent then. We are talking about the exigencies of the system today and the demands of that system. We are going to Ghanaian people to be able to be in a course. So if the issues of that I'm saying and the backlogs were as high then as it was in 2012, I believe that the government's rights paper would have been different. But currently we are saying that the issues we have over a different system. And the traditional courts are not able to handle the number of cases we have expeditiously. So let's have a system. Already it is in the constitution. So let us dance activative and get those to run together with the system. No, it's not 2012, we are in 2023. Right. In 2025, the president started off a committee, Constitution Review Committee. This is the report. In this report, at page 282, recommendation. The committee recommends that the regional tribunals be established from the Constitution. Comments that the High Court has been handling the case of regional tribunals. The resources to be committed to restating the moribund regional tribunals could channel to resource the High Court, as well as the State District Court, that the committee now proposes to be part of the regular judiciary. Moreover, the jurisdiction of the State Courts could be expanded to take on some of the cases that the regional tribunals would rarely hear. Does this sound or not sound? That's the government. Is it sound or not? It sounds that it's regulation. Okay. It is not yet sound to say the government has not committed on to do the recommendations of the constitutional review committee. Okay. So as laws wait for the government should intake on the constitutional review committee before the government has proposed and is dealing with the issues. That's an idea in there. But as FMC, these 2,000 of Ghanaians, also each FMC, they did equal, but as close to this one. Doesn't mean this excuse Ghanaians. You are doing that the original constitution was spoken thousands of people. Before tribunals found its way in the constitution. It doesn't mean then they disrespect. No, it's that was committed in this. They just spoke to person of any walk of life, to the marketing, everybody. That's found to be now the side. As I did, this is committed on by the government. I did last week or 2 weeks ago, the Minister for Communication made a statement that this is I think, or committed on so that's what we talk on. So the statement that not come out or what doesn't be a professionalist requisition. I think that we have done the value and that is the position of the government. It doesn't in any way engage the recommendations, the spoke to Ghanaians, and that is the government and no from that. However, it's also that everything will in government will be going to if there's certain that also disagree with that we should come up with. The council state already dealing with one thing. It's not about that is in the government, it's the government will accept. I have people and as I'm happy about the delays in the court, and I felt like it happens in other jurisdictions. They could put timelines. So I'm happy to see timelines if we are not. Supreme Court rules. I was consultant for the rules that led to the pillars and 40 day of hearings. But a question to Vicky, and perhaps also to the Democratic Integrity Fair, the two of you, executives, as in executive government, to do the thing they do. That's they set up commission committees. They consult with all of us, and they say the people can say this is what we want, and then they decide cherry pick. Is that of the problem? Yes,
that is supposed to be the people for the people, right? If you put it that way, I guess the short answer is yes, how the populace will see it. And this whole issue with tribunals is reckless. Though there has to be some constitutional opinions, I think there should be no question. Because then for me, whether the central is proposed by bill is necessary. Is it properly designed? And is it sufficiently protected for political interference and abuse? These are the questions. There's a historical burden, and government cannot be ignored for the trial. But there is a very complex, deeply troubling history in our country. We also, for some of us old enough, saw public tribunals at the time, and were mainly associated with political institutions, weak procedural safeguards, and violations of fundamental rights. The bill does acknowledge this history, I have to say, and it does attempt to distinguish the new tribunals which are proposed here from those of the past. It places the new one within judicial structure, subjects them to 1992 Constitution and the laws of evidence and criminal procedure, and guarantees legal representation. etc., etc. These are important safeguards. But when all is said and done, public confidence will depend on language that we're all reading, because we're very good at beautiful, language things in all our statutes, etc. And the focus will be on one, how points, two, prosecutions, three, proceedings, operating practice. The proposed regional tribunal must have concurrent jurisdiction with the High Court, as far as we've had. Over serious criminal narcotics, tax customs, many offences, etc. The district tribunals will exercise concurrent criminal jurisdiction with the said courts. So these are merely informal court-based dispute resolution bodies. Will exercise substantial judicial power, impose criminal sentence, and potentially deprive citizens of their liberty. So me, there's a fundamental question that is raised in my mind. If tribunals will apply the same criminal procedure, the same evidence that we all know, and possess substantially the same as the High Court, and the said court, why are new tribunals required rather than additional specialized divisions of the existing courts? So government needs to demonstrate that these tribunals will solve a clearly defined institutional problem, rather than merely create another layer to an already very complex due system. That is what I believe.
Are you convinced that this is a necessary?
Well, I mean, that is in the detail. Things stand out of it. And I don't anyway, I'm saying what we already had. That's it. Just the notice, like I'd say, I have the need for it at 3 speed.
So dangerous.
As a post,
So what they are saying, those set
especially specialized court rules can be set up to deal with that.
the House was working on a document. I went on letter, which they put before this, Chief Justice, before the Justice, asking for how to make petitions for the time it's not like we have done for the Supreme Court as well.
Yes.
So the argument is that rules can be done. Why you set them?
Well, this is it. There's one thing that troubles me is risk of forum shopping, because the bill, the tribunal jurisdiction act, last High Court, the second case, and it implies that where both courts and tribunal have jurisdiction, the tribunal becomes the justice device.
Right.
For me, this creates a real danger of selective prosecution, forum shopping. I got to proceed the Nigeria in the tribunal, our conventional court of the tribunal, which exercises the laws. It's not clear object criteria, but it says social tribunals bring for the ordinary courts. And I don't think that discretion must be entitled to prosecute.
From the debate of omnibus, provision for jurisdiction, which said that we did fraud and matters involving the state. After the rest of the cases they can do, having clear plans, customs, narcotics, the state jurisdiction, all matters.
Yes.
And comparing with Islam, even if some directions are referring to regional tribunal, consider that what is referred to the regional tribunal and has jurisdiction. But so the law, what has been processed, and has that person is justified. Then the prosecutor will decide that to take the person to the High Court. So what is the way you sound yourself into?
That's okay. I mean, some of the problems. There are some issues that we
guardrails.
And guardrails. And I like those. For example, the fact that the evidence has to be applied. That is important. And the criminal procedure rules will be applied. They'll be tried. That's an important requirement. Yes, there's legal representation and legal aid.
That's right.
That's also important. Procedure, there's appellate review. So, informed judicial oversight. And it's be integrated into the formal judicial system. So these are guardrails.
Not judges and judge.
That's the fact to the way to talk about, because they're both. And the legal rule.
Act 459, the Court Act. It was stated that it will be the chairman, not less than 2 and not more than 4.
Yes.
Now, what they have done is not less than 2. Not less than 2 is not guaranteed that will be just
right. Exactly. So if it's still on, even if it's 2 or 1, that's one of the lay persons decides to support the legal person who understands the issues. That's it.
Actually, that's the law.
The legal issue. Yes. I mean, of course,
and the judge will be the trial of the rule, or the trial of the fact. So, how can we raise this? Is this tenable to raise it? Also, the reason where you have a juror and one judge.
Yes, exactly. So, I think, the success of this bill, if I even say that, 3 questions that Mr. Answer. Number 1, fixing the existing system requires creation of the trial. That's the first question. No, I think we believe. Number 2,
what's this source of appointment?
It's objectively determining whether the executive tribunal, rather, this is what the plaintiffs make. And the protection that will prevent the tribunals from coming to select execution or police control. Now later than the set of the bill will not be measured on the tribunals of appeal. I don't think that's what the said. Where they deliver to the early and without preventing abuses that make them fear against it.
So things and everyone else. The issue of the executive, like setting up these commissions and seeming to appear to exercise some kind of veto that I'm still waiting for the government to proceed. How proceed in terms of the government say the provider to make recommendations that fully does mean that only the TGET will be subject to the consequences. Of course, that's the case, right? And I would the executive only one stakeholder among all the democratic stakeholders. Except it looks that if they say they are not issuing a white paper, we will now come to decide if this. Right, but I think for me, there are all of these other stakeholders within democracy, academic research, civil society, citizens union, so while they are entitled to their whatever they want to call it, that we like these recommendations, I'll be curious whether the effect of that would mean it is only the ones that they could like or agree, as both then would move to the people. Yeah, that's fast if also right against what the recommendation is, against the recommendation accepted earlier. So, I mean, if you do that, the next thing around that is to pay information and expect citizens to invest time and energy in giving feedback. It will create a counter effect. Well, they get do it to me. What's about? I should think that's to the tribunal issue. The first things I had in mind was Elizabeth now. It seems as though it's a preemption of what the Constitutional Review Commission is saying, right? That do away with these tribunals. So why do it for to see what happens to the nomination unless they have the action in Parliament to say that this is not a recommendation that we are not going to do it. That is the accusation of it now, because the Constitution has been there since 1962. So I'm just curious why now, right, that if we lived through 3 decades of this Constitution, right now, and Vicky already mentioned the issue of the parish jurisdiction boring up. What had written yesterday, last night was that does it create a versus so you can figure out do I take which case unless the discussion belongs to the process. Right, I let it blank in some ways, maybe in general like that, you should put final rules on it to guide the exercise of that jurisdiction. The limitation guidelines for law cannot depart from what law is. So if the law says this is what it is, that's what you can pass, instrument or whatever. Then becomes terms of when I take this particular case and we do shop for at least when you think be friendly to the prosecutor. That's what adds. So I was only saying it to Manuel, but this I have the tribunal is not positive. Right? So there's this begging also to try and shift the public perception of this so there's also that challenge that when you hear the word tribunal, even if bill is intended to do things, case management, speedy delivery of justice, etc., that historical bearing still weighs on those who are advocating for it has to pass, not completely take us away from the past. And I've done had these articles on the share them on my Facebook. You can go and check them out. I don't judge it. Just visited this essay will be very authoritative on trial courts and tribunals in Ghana, and then Professor Kumado's book, and then I've used that for a discussion. Then in era 1969, when the answer of the American set up the special courts decree for the power, we realized that we have to go with the normal court, and the only they want to come began the tribunals. Let's set up our own. So it was completely parallel. It was characterized by severe public opacity, fear, and exemplarity. National Activist One Health here summarizes this as the those bodies bypass all the traditional safeguards of fair trial and standard evidentiary rules. In S.A. Bobe's book, he quotes, "Much was known of the special courts, or who actually split cases there. Their operations and process of these courts were also shrouded in me. In executive or have become of those who have it's kind of a asset like so say kind of first. I understand all of that. Indeed, we talk about even some of the guardrails being built in the Danvers Committee and all of that. But shaking off certain historical burdens doesn't only come with perspectives. There's an effect you give to those guardrails that would eventually convince citizens that this is a complete departure from the past. In those days, when they get a decision, it's not subject to appeal. It's subject to appeal to compete. And I agree with all of that. All I'm saying is that historical burden would not go away in guardrails in inflation. It is if we guardrails acidic, like very for some like fish, it is completely departing from the case. I'll come to the but hold on just a second. Dennis J. Lawless also work around this and some review of the see it's not after the past. So the next 2 things an aspect that is both constitutionally and legally problematic. For us. Please. Great, be clear. Tell us about your major concern about this bill.
Okay, so thanks, Samson. One big thing is the executive result that it's a passage. One of the dimension and as people to try and raise the concerns that think I need to be taking their time to listen to all that voices and correct it. Another issue that the government has a gun of balance where we have a dog and then right now as 2012 where the government the accepted this all the 3 of inquiry done by to Clark Assist to the government headed by the president and at the time to Honorable Uni published the theater and it's why I believe they all agree that. And finally made a political statement and I realized and this must those young to and then it was a checklist but we have to be after so to survive the point we might have satisfied it but the people expressed they have to give us right about accepted all this so move from there. Now one of the major things is that the tribunal system has also gone through our court including the Supreme Court. I've realized that people the case of Yabi and Abalifo. Now, one of the things that everybody fails to mention is that the proviso of concurrent jurisdiction of the High Court being given to the regional tribunal has been ruled here about the law unconstitutional. So if you and look at that provision, it's more like the same parity to the of it, but the drafters have left out the position of the Nabali. So, personally, this is in the beginning, they are the same part of the time, but first part of the time, when it was struck out the Parliament giving concurrent jurisdiction of the court. So, personally, myself, if that law had been ruled as a constitutional as 2000, why should the drafters? Let me read
what the law said in Yabi and Abalifo. They said, in our opinion, therefore, Section 21 of Act 459, the court at which we just referred to, which vests in the regional tribunal concurrent regional jurisdiction in all criminal matters with the High Court, is clearly inconsistent with the letter and spirit of the Constitution 1992, and Article 1.2 thereof, saying is null and void. It was that on the true and proper interpretation of Article 1.4.3.1.2, Parliament had no power to provide that the regional tribunal had jurisdiction in all criminal matters.
So, why should the drafters 2005? So, this exact drafting has been ruled as unconstitutional, also finds itself in the 2026 bill. That's why and the way they are doing with this drafting, this particular system, I think that's a drafting problem. Because remember that Samson, one of the problems that happens is that when you have a starting start, because the Constitution divides court to include a tribunal, so a tribunal separate, and there's a substantive set of it. The best step that avoid all these issues about the power system or not. So bring back to attention to the Supreme Court and make a process that passes substantive legislation. Now, if
the substantive legislation have passed, because all the questions about tribunal, so what's saying had done?
But I'm saying that instead of talking about tribunals, it would have been called the Court Amendment Act. Which would have included a substantive jurisdiction provisions relating to so that one going to our court in this height. And I said, no, one of the major points is doing research. We are looking at this and don't get this tribunal. That easily makes an amendment in that.
How is this substantive? How is this a substantive claim of concern?
No, it's a concern because it is background, in respect to the background, if you could allow it in the Composite Cost Act. Remember, we did not introduce anything new. This is already back the Cost Act. Not to the Council. Now, concern was about the issue of voting houses where the order, okay, allow the knowledge, and in case you are convicted and so if the chairman has apparently no, you are attached to a right of bail if you have been against the matter. Okay, that's why so something. So if the two parties and the role of the marriages is relating to activity, issue relating to the ten both questions and questions so far, it was even as much as struggle. So imagine the point is raised of different distribution of the document, the judges and the parliament who are not yet, okay, help them to rule the judge. I want you to say that you're on the track. But also, what's my decision? They not include the judge who happens to be somebody who has a background of law. The mentality from the mentality automatically, because that was the chairman was not even the issue from the hierarchy and it's because you
but if you ask this occasion, when my financial you don't appeal. There's which appeal. So when you not appeal, when you can appeal. So that's a very sharp.
The biggest placement that is due to there's no cancer. As well as criminal trial, and the major issue related to criminal trial in this country is the system. And it is not caused by the courts. That's real. The least of times are caused by the prosecutors. If you study the fact, and this is why prosecution trial is just one way to file. And why the police decide to describe people as Dalam says, and understand that people are Dalam says, and they admit. So I think that it is and also the other issue that I wanted to investigate. So the realization of the court, relating to the proceedings, there is not say of proceedings relating to the trial. I think that for such a case, the state of problematic. Because the MIA and the judges or claimants of them, you should not be very sure to raise you these everybody can now the rest of the national
with the top students which build say in the products.
Maybe if you read website and you draft it, you draft it, and then they are right also organization of it. And that's why I always pretend that when these laws need to be a process and must be in the behind it, how to know the cost. So I don't know. Because first thing was to be one thing, I like to 10 million, if you effective, we need to be against them of religion.
Right. Thank you very much, Dennis. When it comes to seeing proceeds and doing things the way not acted, as an example, we have to go there tonight and doing an act for power or so like this. This as one is the test of his until finished. Yeah, we'll follow the electoral process and we'll start it and it take us 7 years and then we'll come and it's quite free for. Yes, Dr. Bonfrey.
I want to keep my submission with 3 quotes. First, I take from the Sunday Adventist Church, this about school lesson for the 16th of July, Thursday. It says, Christian leaders for the praise Jesus are willing to suffer for their fellow brothers and sisters. And if need be, die for salvation. Then I go to Psalm 8:1, 2. For the hands out of hand, they are 10 and change the faith. Is kind notion of destiny. Then, J. Bible, he said, I hope you will agree with me that the price of success is self-discipline, effort, and constant vigilance. And with opportunity of I will call this mess of the United States as referring to in 1907. About 46 years ago, he said, self-control, self-restraint is the primary discipline on which self-government must depend. And that runs in players so that the true relation of things may be perceived. And also, the moral qualities which make possible patience, kindly consideration for other, and the capacity for loyalty to certain ideals. Men must be willing to sacrifice something of their own individual interest for the larger interest of city, state, or country. And without that, popular government is impossible. That's what Apple was formed from today. But the founding president, Charles Tree, was started from the Pakistan. When he was founded the Ghana National Police, it's supposed to be there are about 8 men or so. Said he had one sustained effort. As never before, we want thinkers, effort. We want doers. Doers of big deeds. What use is your education if you got your country in an hour of need? This week, Parliament had HF Dinan Mulek. It was given by the very retired Dalamatuma. Here's something the MPs pointing to them. And when he sees or watches or reads an element, he sees something else. And partisan, personal, self-aggrandizing, not the interest of the state. Johnson, you have copiously referred to the work of Emeritus Professor Justice Ajo. Commission Review Document. Volumes. For the one you refer to the fact. I want to read something very instructive. As to how at 140 the Reliance Tribunals came about. This is what they say at page 259 in the Commission Reviews report. Johnson, paragraph 240. The question observes that in preparing the state for that return to constitutional law, the committee of experts that developed proposals to proposing had beat the tortuous path of reconciling the public tribunals as enabled the NBC of 42 with the constitutional principles that they were getting. It was just to ensure that public tribunals did not make claim to any immunity from the constraints imposed by the Constitution. The committee of experts wanted to integrate the public tribunals fully existing traditional court structure. They read Article 142, added the tribunal system and left the regional tribunal. Any way to operate also the rules of the court. So anybody will be an illusion that there is a tribunal system in the Constitution. It's something cannot understand. It doesn't exist. It doesn't. Now, I go there and I don't come in there. And I will ask if the roads that led to the abolition of the tribunal system will proceed today. When we proceed, doesn't. The memorandum was signed on May 15, 2026. That's instructive. It was gazetted on May. Well, I am referring to the title. Yeah. Based on which Honorable Dr. Dominic Ayine, MP, Attorney General and Minister of Justice, signed this memorandum accompanying the bill on May 15, 2026. That is instructive. Now let me come to the bill and the motivation for it. First, I'm asking, is this supposed to be amended Article 142 and 143 of the Constitution? And it is not. It is
paragraph 234. The legal tribunals can be fact in practice. So the same legal tribunal remnant of created as remedies. And you also say that tribunal deals against the legal tribunal regarding tribunals. It's not case decency and fair and clear and sense. It's not what you like when the age of production. Yes, effectively. So let's be answers. And I'm happy with Dr. Cotton said. Next time you want to access two coaches, give them the ability to the ocean report. And the president, which is the Mama, send that as vice president. And send the people to make sure that the committee's report, the commission's report, is implemented to do so. What do you want to do? This committee. And the agency private council, they borrowing from the legal soul, but they borrow from the language of the legal commission report. You haven't issued them because the nomenclature, the language in the committee is trouble. They don't say so, talking about the agency committee. And that's why they say that it's complete paper. It is something of the commission. Now, you haven't said anything about the committee for it. And you don't say that is flying in the face of the committee information. It's saying that to write as an expert, I'm considering a committee. We should really consider it to be on how much cost. I to do a prepare committee in the work, it was at $6 million. They went to all 106 districts. They held 15 decisions and they received over 82,000 submissions. And yes, the government is a cherry and say, we want to go on this. They want to go on, we say, they want. So now you remember, and this deceptions. The bill aims to verify the jurisdiction, structure, and operation procedures of tribunals to ensure it must align with the principles of the Constitution, protect rights of citizens, and adhere to due process. The tribunals don't have any authority in this Constitution. There's a legal tribunal. It is so it's a tribunal system. That legal tribunal, as established in Article 142, is very clear that 142. Yes, that shall be established in each region of Ghana. Such legal tribunal will consist of A, justices, all courts of offense, one chairman, and such members only or member of the business shall be designed by the chief justice, the chief justice as part of members of the legal tribunal for such period as are decided by the chief justice. So, about time and this for you. We are playing the game with our democracy. And the action we take daily in our podcast front. We're presenting that they're doing us bad. It's not position. It's a history which has been followed. That it went through a transformation. But the problem has argued that when you get the tribunal, this is the right. I told you when you get the name tribunal, but I know the has talked about when you get the tribunal. You want to say, if you know that who is working within the movement. Yeah, in the water tribe. Yes. The good board has quite. We get the name tribunal. It's just people. I know that one with the talk who means as a campaign. That's it. As myself. That this convention proposed the promise of the president. It had been sponsored by the NDC. When this was president, he had inspired the NDC. Vice President now today was vice president. The HPLP report, a complete report, was under Mahama and funded by the NC. In fact, the majority in parliament funded by the NC. So the nation had told that fully these works that are done by ethics in the bonus exercises under the jurisdiction of the department. Did I consider them before the data period? That's why I make a first that trend is in the front line. That's why the one thing I say whether we want and these things technology, they will ask the best plan. And I promise my and systems. They include resources, they include logistics, they include the issue of influence and made today. And I said to that to we question when the president nominated to God. That's what positions are. We said that what unanimous mercy. Like this. Now we are into like thank you. Now thank you very much. And we some message to take and return to you when those questions have been asked. And Hanan so far the petition to attend general complaining about the number of things Abdul Hanan last stock, including that anything at the airport. He's money about $6,100 or so. It's not here. They haven't given me back to him. I don't know why. If it is also what. So to ask a couple questions there. A couple of messages. Nana Inspector says that please, will the role of the lay magistrates in the UK not work in Ghana? Yeah, we have had magistrates that are facing that system to them professionals, the magistrates are not qualified lawyers. you say, I've been in court yes, regarding a tenancy case, which has been already ruled by the rent control. Yes, it shouldn't last that long, but there was a case only 40 odd years. That is that parties died. They happened and that's been a route. Described it as a parody of justice. Lawrence Bachi says that introduction of the transfer in the country, the amendments to backward laws in the civil Ghana is meant to intimidate the opposition. It will also evoke unpleasant scary memory for some years through this kind of judicial system under the leadership of Chairman Rollins. It's needless. We have some parents who have been powerful, so why not wait? When you look at that's what I'm saying. When anybody's arrested, you say the woman is pregnant. Sorry. Musa Batuai says that confirming that the NPP is opposed to the tribunal cause raises serious questions. If the tribunals are intended to reduce the burden on the courts and speed justice, then there should be no reason to oppose them. Those with nothing to hide should not fear such reforms. I fully support the establishment of the tribunals. Believe they will help strengthen the justice system. As the news file, if in advance says, I think the whole mess about tribunal is in the history and baggage that it carries. It serves emotions and fear down the spine of the men, especially those who are enough to know what the tribunals were used for. We'll be right back at Ioko, not demonstrating, checking facts.
The Facilities Management Professional Course AFDA and beyond will gather in Accra for Global Africa Current 2026 on 12 and 30 August. The IFMA Global Africa Conference 2026 brings world-class speakers, industry leaders, and system management professionals to Ghana for 2 days of learning, networking, and innovation. If you're a facility manager, workplace professional, project manager, consultant, specialized history is your opportunity to gain up to insights, know valuable facilities and your organization for the future. Register today on our ship by calling 055-836-8544. IFMA Global Africa Conference 2026. Be part of conversations in the future of facilities management in Africa. This event, the International Facility Management Association.
Over the years, Samsung has nurtured leaders of integrity, excellence, and self-taught innovation. Celebrate excellence or legacy. From top 157 Sentinel Awards, now open for mentions, commercials, and individuals and organizations whose dedication and service have helped shape Fountain's proud 150-year legacy. We will make member of staff, Becca, organization, or FNBs of nominated the box to work on some foundations on of a first unit tweaks of 50 super legacy of excellent leadership service are the future. Townhouses built for retail comfort. This is more than a building. It's a vibrant creative community with a clubhouse, state-of-the-art gym, and an on-site hotel. All at BC Edition. Minutes from the mall. Enjoy city energy whilst retreating to your private sanctuary. Call now. Reserve your unit. From its technology incentives, including crowd unit social, don't miss the chance to pick up a homes. Book a private site for today. Call 050-9823-424. 2 residences. With smart, invest better. Upgrade the Bridgegate Picking Water. Probably powered by technologies. Full leads, print, scan, and copy. Professional systems and HTC production machines. We don't match before. Right now, TAD has an unbeatable offer. 1 in 5 year of free servicing. All Clicker Water machines. That's 12 months of expert maintenance for you and customer. Instead of a new VIP%. Pay the space and precision for live expression. For 050-164-4180 or 030-7889. Again, it's 050-164-5180 or 080-798-829. Guys, buddies. Performance that delivers dinner.
About combined with cheese and eat from two strong team healthy yums. And she comes connected on the one of the plants and what you let and just well, the Bible authority to use this platform and we put our first and thank you very much for the solution. It really feel that agree. As Jimmy Allen is reading this and he sends us this. So he says I'm a bit handicapped in this matter. Is the argument really about the usefulness of probabilities or historical essays associated with them? And the also argument on the model. The UK continues to be as an part of this. If the problem administration, the case management details, so but the idea being constructed, that's very real. The to be on making this effect, transparent, efficient, and independent, not rejecting them all again. Right, that's your view. Okay, then about to say that tribunal is to see the judicial system in most justice on a more faster note. No one MP is fearing most of the corrupt ones will soon have a change in their thinking zone. Hence, against the tribunals. Okay, sometimes we make our comments. It is that easy. Just for that point, sorry. Yakubu Ibn Chambers says if that was cast into the abyss, it's gone back for them and shudder to understand and have any doubts. Reactions as heading for the vomit of the tribunal system makes mockery of the sleepless nights put in by the prosecution analysis officer for the social review mission. She talk about the cloud very quickly as well. Okay, those related to this region. Okay, our teachers are point with democracy. Ibn Chambers Yakubu sends us from Waliwan. Thank you for your message. Okay. All right. So says, I mentioned a case that I would say that it's a paralysis because it took 40 years to give judgment. Okay. Thank you very much. Just seeking to have a copy of it. Thank you very much. Now, let's go to the Yoko Dennis Miracles Award. So I said, back to Ghana at the airport and spent some about 4 days in Castle also. And then I got granted the sum of 50 million. And has got up another hue and cry. Yoko come out for questioning a lot of things on some of these issues. As I mentioned earlier, the team that's been fudged by Haman Bufferstock boss to the Attorney General is complaining about breaches and violations of rights by ECO. And these are said over and again. Is it just who have reported the law, crime foul, or these are genuine concerns that there is? He speaks about the fact was initially arrested June 5, 2025 and kept in local custody for more than 2 weeks and unjustified and unjustified donations of 60 million calculated to prolong his term without being produced before a court. Of course, he was produced before a court and he was another 2 weeks in custody. Court had actually enhanced that bail term from 60 million to 100 million Ghana cedis, and that got him into a bit of some trouble, having to spend 2 months in custody. Then, when his charges were withdrawn, he was discharged, and then subsequently, he got rearrested. He had to serve 1 more round. Again, once he was charged, the court said to him that his access to his money, he has been accused of attempting to take the money without due process. Now he showed him what marks check, what day wine. He went to the court to withdraw any money, and the court gave an order that he should travel, and he was told he couldn't travel for medical treatment. That's I'll this last one. He said he doesn't abuse his right because when they arrested him again, he had things on him, including money, and he says this money, $6,800 cash. The officials took it from him. They are giving the money back to him. He doesn't understand when he was at Telegram to hide the weight and hold them responsible for it. Some other things, he says something away from him. He's the decision to the release. Yes, the ultimate, yes, Mama, we begin to again. Have suspicions of wrong, arrested and let me just record that we have not talking of the arrest. A complaint has been made our people are treated through the arrest. The APP is not against that company before. However, the way in which our people are handled, venting sanctions that it is not really about at average. And that's why when these things happen, thusly, not to the aid of our people. Of in terms of how we use. anything or be vessel hotel one or other came to the floor. Trained at an oil. Chabon Buju. What a man went to, of his own this man going to, and so on. If you suspect that someone has committed an event, now you invite for petitions like Mark's case, let's even from perspective of the statement that was issued by you. You go see and investigate him for a year, that was in the case. Yeah, you know, he at the basis of you go for a year. So if you have somebody who is listening to you and has cooperated with for a year, now drown, and consider Ghana, not Ghana. Give the case that you invited him and the invitation to respond to the invitation. To your statement, there was nothing like that. That you had previously invited in the court of investigations, they have filled an invitation. Your own statement, operating with the not and cooperation to why they need to do what we did at the airport by arresting him.
They said fluid significant new findings last week relating to suspect fraud and theft involving Mr. Demaji, who is aware of the thing and has already visited it. ECO initiated the plan to effect this week. As part of this process, Mr. Wadi was released from the Strada a week ago to visit Mr. travel in PSDF. He had arrested them. So, in the code of the money,
let's analyze that. So, step one, like investors, investors, figures, right? Then we invite the office that responded. This man was invited in the bottom. That's top. I listen to the case that you're it's like that's just something. You have to back at it. First, we leave it. Don't want your situation. You need to do that. You know, I think that was okay. So we kind of do that for to be. Like, what you do that, you know, you have to be the disaster. If you try to put on the board, you know, at the top, you will do it. And when this happens, for the population of that, and then I'll put you after the levels of estimation, and this is 2000. It's not reconciliation size, aimed at 57 times. So that's expected. And that will that on the back of that. We're going to let the Constitution become paramount. The work of Constitution is for flow. And to see all these things, it is very difficult for potentialists for other people that event not to be seen. Because it's like that. Since you also have to listen to your if you are not happy of the legislation before, say no, I don't from eye from eye. They are defending the protocols. You got the rooftop saying it is there. You show that you're not there. You're never into not. You want to be such a bliss. That's that abuse. I'm dead. That's the abuse of it. That's the thing they're asking you. You have to demonstrate once again to use process. Or what? So, so that's my question, please. I do the same. Article 14. Where person arrested, she don't think that the being of the state of this article is all I deem reasonable time. No other person failed to see him engaged either or reasonable conditions. To be in conditions reasonable situation, he is ready for trial, for preliminary to trial. Actually, that when you get applications, first of all, you should to know that there's a kind of case or really that I said, we attend that decision of the school. This is the investigation. If you are comparing things, you will not believe upon every day. Because the reason why for the investigations, if you are doing the investigations, so we give you a straight course and course you record them. You have to do it clearly. And we are not done investigations. So you establish the core elements and of claim. I will not himself faithful. That you have not moved to it. What you have to do on him, such as here. Oh, that's not necessarily collaborate, right? So that you have not gone anywhere. It's a very important cut. The company will say the same as the team, because some said for free, right, and being there. Just like that, until now, something was not out of the NDC, the structure. Until he appointed he was not charged by anybody for this country. Can have not been charged. So there are serious matters. Miracles are watching. He had traveled and was very home. If he didn't return, he would come. And from their own statements, for last one, and he knew that was investigated. So for all the inside the pretend home, it tells you that he's not the right. And so imposing him 60 million basis bail is like reasonable. And I hope we don't continue doing this to ourselves. And that's why since I say that, we should strengthen, we should really, you read the Constitutional Provision Article 4, which is the breach. And that's it. I'm complaining about half of the such matters. So in terms of I've been calling out all these matters, I think it is fair. Because look in the constitutional spice of the in terms it's proved that once civil conditions items, it was the call for people to do them. As they look, here is the basis. Since the minister who was the executive secretary of the Ministerial Committee on Legislation, there's an audit from this petition that the contests suspect operating investigation dash theft. Calcul thefts. So they say that secretary Dennis Awaji and the fact Gerald Appeal are initiations for offensive prestigious team using public office profit, causing national loss state, defeating funds, defrauding by false pretext, money laundering, and other suspect offenses. They actually say that the has not paying back money. So it's like the other has come out to the numbers. Then it has to story applies to what we need. To be what you need. So that's the question accept what you telling us. All right. But we should look at problem and in terms of religion, I wish the person necessarily clear and bring it is when somebody has not been cooperating with you, then you do things to secure the person's position. Right? Secondly, when you listen to the chronology of events, you also come to the conclusion that the imposition of 50 million cedis as a new condition was also very unreasonable and unconstitutional. When you listen to the different collaboration, you also come to the conclusion that the reference to Mr. Apia is not the Mr. Wadi. Okay. The message to him and warranted.
Okay, so we hear certain comments that suggest that like you said, that the reference is unfair to him because there is some information that suggests a completely different scenario, and that this is an audit finding. Audit finding the assets. So it looks like in the case of Ferral, he's trying to pay money for which he has been charged. So to suggest that he's paying money which he charged for by Yoko is not correct. Okay, Yes, if you're talking about the spirit like Jesus, and when he was arrested, you really need to know better something. But people are saying, let's move on, let's not go back to X. So I said, the church.
Yeah, something before I come to your question, let me refer to the government in the Professor H. Committee. So the word is not only about the driving house. So to suggest it appears like this act or bill has sort of thrown their legs somewhere. It's not fair to the government.
Oh, but you want to thinking.
But so that's next time I mean, I don't work, people, I mean, let's be fair. Yeah, I was going to talk to my brother here to say that I believe that Ukrainian has the right to decide when and where he should arrest people. You can be arrested based on the principles we have all been taught to how arrests are effected. Now, I was going to say Joshua was arrested because he was arrested there, and that happened before in second force. No issue, what was that? He happened before. The airport one was happened before. It just recently. Let's say that, okay, you're listening to the brothers, what's expecting you to say that, oh, having said court was done previously, we are all coming back to the point that it will never happen again. Now, let's focus on the statement. They said that they have, as you read, new information they felt this week when we were arresting. So, in order to prevent this picture, no, this was placed, how this happens, stop this place, when you are coming in or going out, immigration people. Stop things to not be finally in, then allow him to come. The purpose of this notice is to prevent the person from disappearing, so that the person will be located and brought to you. So the argument was picked from the airport when he was seeing him, does not in any way violate how he was arrested. Now, also mentioned the idea about 50 million original consumer. Some sales this year, it's twice. This is in the same platform with me. Now, all we talk also. If you feel that provision, that amount that has been given or has been mentioned to you or police station, etc., you feel it's a excessive. Now, if you feel that is unreasonable and constitutional, you push it court. Immediately ask for revision. If you have been an example that's going to be the court and the court varying and even increasing. See, there is an issue with administration while referring. As long as we are negotiating or talking about bail or making application for bail for clients, you're doing and cleaning everything, all those things. Because bail is at the discretion of the judge. And if you read one of the things that the chair said that the fact that all the first doesn't mean that everything will be just yes, then you must bail. No, there's still not to be discretion there. So if that's the discretion of judicial is under the scope of the criminal act 30 reference. That's the person reference is actually doing compliance investigation. You can do things. As the person has placed, does he have a place about it's a responsible thing. And that is to give an example. If you mentioned which can refer to miracles for miracles not miracles are not in charge. So we can legislation. It's the same thing that the application should be qualified, and we don't know has not gone into detail to tell us to be aware of them. That's made that they have stepped up their original plan. That's away. But the case for that and the situation paid the details. Now, I'm just saying about that about 2 years ago, the various society was bringing up a proposal plan for some terms of how those administration report that should process things if this works if this or this condition. But when you think we have been and that is the time of you similar thinking to learn how to say we've had all this for a while. Now is the time. What's the policy? How do we that if the person goes to the police station or the person arrested the BNI? These are the conditions. The person needs this condition. The person should be granted this amount of bail if these are the conditions. Then we know that we are making progress. But each day, today that for the fact that the person is arrested, let's go and demonstrate. And I want to end up mentioning the demonstration. We were here when the enemies went to demonstrate for last Monday. At the end of the day, the person who was doing it, for the then it was that we got the aftermath of the negotiation of demonstration. Everyone would say, some demonstrators didn't know. Waiting for CDs and some students are calling it to be distributed. So some of these, but everyone knows that it feels so bad when your client is if you ain't got money, no matter how hard skin you are, even if it's small project, you always ask me to be self-recognition. Yeah, what is it? Okay, I'll to it something I asked you before. Okay, but we should gradually move for what the justification is. And I remember telling you that was particular gentleman said, it's a justification. I said justification. If you land property, that's where freedom of justification. Attach your bank card of voters and you can then yes. And she now in cases I've got now, some of this justice very price on. It's really the justification as necessary. So it's important that when the judge is justification, no further. I mean, we are when you have justification usually, should be by property, should be by any living property. So we must be able to do that and have the discussion with the judge. Not that financial system, we also can be exactly. Then the person go on, we also sort of dovetail into the situation, and I mean the landed property. This to go and check lands commission. But if you have registered, I think the verification is taking 2 weeks, and it depends on that registration. We need to tap which issue or not where the investigating other options are willing to still copy. Some of them are appealing to as the parliament that this is the time. Let us get the rules of engagement around the project system. When I present something in my life, I was self-recognition buildings through myself. I'll present myself. I didn't want to say that to bring me. Why do you think that in all these the people of self-recognizance? I think we had a case of I think 2000. I think they were self-recognizance. It came something because self-recognizance you must have sufficient reputation. Yes, that we can trust that you and we I told you that no has a team of stand for themselves. Or in the so far organization pair of and then where we invited as a we arrested the meetings and some of these one of them one shot inside that I'm waiting for they said to me events upon trees and he said he figured out the founder of the committee that appear and he paid back especially we have understood that the former finance director was surcharged an amount of 500,000 after the audit, which he has almost finished paying. So you're able to create the impression that 55 million, it's only miracles about it. It's unfair. Yeah, for me, it's interest. I don't have the news of a large report you're reading. I'm relying on what Yoko was giving us about the station Yoko release. I was also surprised when my colleague says that. The best is right to that. Exactly. It's funny in something as always. And again, that's why I'm driving to. He said miracles said something and he was collaborated by Atachi and Kelly. Yoko might not be telling nobody of pain and Atachi something from what happened. They all have to think from the same thing. And until we were able to come to tell us that we have read the statement by the rest of Mr. Gerald Apia, we have seen the statement by Miracle. Indeed, Miracle says that the 59 million was not mentioned. Even if it was to tell us what was mentioned anyway. Once you have removed the one that was not mentioned, you open the honorary double mind just now being on the finish. But we have been derogated for 2 hours and about 10 minutes. Just have been giving a caution to the rest of the government. But be careful. That's when you are doing somebody today, you want to do tomorrow. So, and this I want to say that Darrell Frida and the CEO of MPA, if you always to government on all platforms, yes, all platforms I share with you. And MD always mentions to the CEO, the MDs, the deputy CEO, that according to the rules, and what will happen tomorrow, right? So everybody should try and navigate the narrow path. So that to tell us how we calling for sort of energization or sort of meeting a day for CEOs for them to be reminded about that. If not this and then you as an MP or CEO or second decide that okay, I'm going to behave differently, then they will be other part. Okay, let's say attach to represent Mr. Kosabadi at Yoko and his concerns nights that they was entered.
I think clearly that JOM's approval is meant to punish it off. It's not possible to basically punish it off. I have to say, I do a lot. How do you really find out folks at the bombs? I don't know. 50 million Ghana cedis, 3 securities, 2 negative parameters, 2 of them supposed to tonight.
Step by step, also, I would just touch on accountability and to say that we do not have a malice against the person. And indeed, I do not take any enjoyment or pride in prosecuting people if they have done wrong. And I believe that our cultural system, investigative system, and judicial system grants leverage for people to have justice. And so nobody would, out of political benefit, prosecute anybody if you've done no wrong. And if you've done no wrong and you're being prosecuted maliciously, the courts will be able to hold your rights and set you free. So it shouldn't be like we're trying to hound our political opponents or something. We proceed on the basis of evidence we have received. And then the evidence is weighed. And if it is sufficient, how many times we have report on that evidence, and it's not granted. And so let's observe course has or investigate finality if there's something else that was wrong. But otherwise, if the case goes, and that's why the whole system of accountability is taking time. Because you need to be thorough. By the time Yoko or OSD or somebody comes and arrests the person, it means that months of work have taken place reviewing evidence. And so I just want to show that accountability is our number one right. But I keep saying, the sword is only one way. If we find evidence that any of our current appointees or persons working in government area also has abused public, then we start cutting down, we will cut this way through. And I always caution my appointees to be careful. Be sure you follow those CBI impact points and appointees if you have any doubts. Tell the ministers that if you have any doubt, bring cabinet.
Yes, so to back to saying that statement, because the accountability is important. You know, these are serious allegations, and you look at the properly mandated, situation investigating those questions. But there are some serious with but it's not so important. Everybody in this country is presumed to be innocent until they are proven guilty by court of competent jurisdiction and convicted as such. And it is very caution. The rule will prevail, actually, at all times, because one person tomorrow could be in the same room. So what I think these symptoms will really be discussed about it in the sense that you should look at the individual concern and how you feel about that. Because the matter is far bigger than all of us. Far bigger than that person. The Constitution requires the person who's arrested on such an offense to be released upon before court within 48 hours. But we know now is in the 40 hours, right? So that is not acceptable because once your freedom is being restricted, even it's not a good deal. But the calculation, if before execution of the 48 hours, they grant you bail, you are the one who's going to stay for bail, and you spend 2 weeks and they spend another 2 weeks planning the game. That's your own problem. They already got you bail. But that's the thing. I mean, 1 hour before the expiration of the time to look for 50 million. I mean, who this could improve that? Even if you're already left, then you still have what you were 50 million arrangements. Yes. But the arrangements have to be made and have to satisfy Yoko or institutions concerned that look, this is the property element, it's worth $1 million before you're signed up. You can't even the property and say, I own number one, whatever, in Pasako Valley, and so can I go home now? It doesn't like that. So this is the issue. So we need to be careful so that we don't put ourselves in a situation where it can be felt, or could also put ourselves in a situation where it can be felt that trying to avoid constitutional obligation by structuring conditions in a way that they keep the person in custody longer than they should be. That is the challenge. I mean, what is the bill anyway? To amend the result. What is the purpose of the bill? It's intended primarily to secure the service and secure investigations and trial it. That is it. That's what it's to do. So it is balanced on every single bill. It is not supposed to punish that emotion. It is not supposed to have seriousness. Yes, bill shall not be used. Exactly. Like, it's not supposed to have a big demand. Even without someone, it's not supposed to be some of this confiscation. Even that the question is, Sarah, on the bill. What is the of censoring that? Until he is considered by attachment. If the case is clean and the prosecution does the prosecution, then he'll be taken by court. We are very far away from that situation at the moment. And the 50 million is interesting, but for me, it's very close to 55 million. That's relatively stolen. So I'm asking myself that as for part of the consideration that it should be calibrated according to our alleged financial loss, rather than according to the genuine of fraudulent tenders. From what we understand, if you're going in and out of the for a year, if Abu was arrested. Yes, prosecution authorities say, doesn't you understand your bedroom, you can be arrested, that's in anyway.
You pick out of their home site.
So the powers are there. We need to do things differently, evolving as a national team. I'd like to think that we've matured beyond a certain level. Let me put it that way. The person in question is not going to be judging Yoko or anything of the sort. In fact, in spite of being an investigation, the trouble and came back. So, I mean, yes, okay, arresting the if you master isn't really necessary. Is it really necessary? In fact, the person is not sure about a different much, and this applies to everybody. I mean, it's applied to the presidents. It's not really done. If it's not really done, it's pretty risky. To investigate the questions from Yoko. Is it like to interfere with witnesses if it's let her loose out there? And is there any evidence that he may conceal or dissipate assets? That is important in this context. And the reporting requirements pass around travel restrictions adequately manage those risks in the risks that should be passed. So I think we just need to be careful. Yes, Yoko by all means investigate robustly because if public fund is stolen, we all want some money. It has to come back to the state office. Because no one person can just decide to dip their hand in the public purse and expect to get away with it and expect them to sell it. But I don't think anyone is questioning that. So far, all commentaries are from all sides. Yes? If the case that's crime or these have been committed, then you pursue them relentlessly. And we just have to do it in a way where It's obviously their actions are deemed as converting a bill into some kind of pre-trial punishment. So that is what I would say about this.
The concerns that are also coming up is that when during the period was in Euro custody, he was sticking to his residence and he took photographs of the place and it's on social media. Actually, some people on social media are known to work for Euro are saying that when he was in custody, there were cameras of him as a footage that are likely to be shown on social media if they have permission. I mean, what's the name? Defamation, but stuff that they surface, even one thing going to the president is cooperative and it's fair.
That is not right because it's not punition. It's about pursuing justice or pursuing, an opportunity doing it. And the fact that it's not to humiliate people because they are innocent until they're proven guilty. So if you are treating someone guilty and then go further to humiliate, I mean, that's way outside. You are not encroaching in abuse of human rights and perhaps even breaching data protection laws in this country, etc., etc. So we need to be careful because as people like MG and Alex Sebita and others are saying today, and I started my extension by repeating from what she said. So let's just act professionally. Let's be dispassionate about these things. Don't look at the individual concerns. Just look at the facts. What you are saying as the facts, the evidence that you are gathering. Do your job. Assume robustly. But within all that, human rights, respect the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. Let the rule flow. Because once we're in a republic.
Right. Pedro has done a certain outcome to Dr. Buffett. Pedro, the prolific writer, and who is research matters concerning the state, has done a certain research. And his research shows that the bill that is being known by the court is increasingly more severe. Since 2025, local corporations have frequently exceeded the court bill imposed in earlier major prosecutions, and has always from 2014 to 2026. Abu Bakr Ida, was self-recognized bail. I said it was Abu Bakr, he got 2 million bail. That's also 2014, 18. But Sylvia Puni got 300,000 is it bail. Then self-recognized, he got self-recognized later, and then she just got withdrawn later. Siba Dungo, he got 300,000. And then we have William Atwisi got 100 million. Fejal Donko, in the Fabak 19, over 100 million. Saying I got 5 million. Okay, I actually got self-recognized or something like that. And they want to get 5 million bail. Now Pines and 1, got 5 million bail. And this is a long one. Really, it's 10 million. Yes, the Hausa Iduni, that business executive Rostock, corruption, he's got 30 million. And then sending the entry, National Service Secretariat, 100 million. Of course, the cost later slashed it down to 600 and 650 and to 120. When all three years, he was able to meet the bail conditions. I'm sorry, there's something wrong. All the figures that you're mentioning, if the person has stolen their money, then they can provide it. If the person is not going to from. No, I think you have the money. You can't use money for bail. No, but I'm saying, if you're here, I would say it's an asset or whatever. Why are you going to get it for? If you're just a person really enjoying all of that, you're stealing the money. The chances are you've only acquired assets to that soon. So you can do that. But if you haven't, it's actually someone who's studying 24 years. So you can do it. You can do it. The document. No, I know that. I know what I'm saying. That's it. I mean, I understand what I think. He had a very solid point. In 1964, the United States of America had passed the Human Rights, the Civil Rights Bill. It says this at page 25 of the law. After President probably to make a bill of Congress of the justice. Why not say this? But the law and no better than the people administer it and the people are called to it. In short, it is the attitude of all Americans on the attitude towards freedom, the stand they take against peace and discrimination. This Constitution 1992 is clear about the presumption of innocence until revealed. It says that even when you are charged and are being investigated, you are in trial, rights are accrued to you. God will see. The price is almost as if parliament will speak to you that you are, but you don't need. Just a good check. How can you do? That's what office. It's that way. Yes, I do the otherwise. I don't want to do. You go for that. But let's be faithful to the law. Now, the statement that came from Eko, for me, in train, exposing how they are working. Even the statement of his trial outside country was unknown to the office. Is it a security intelligence? No. Is it? But what do you understand? That they could not finish that the man was somewhere putting a letter at the airport. That he should be out. I said, I don't want to know. As a security office, it's a problem. I mean, it's a problem. No, they're supposed to be completing the 3 pages. True. They are not even his name there. Not allowed to. They don't have information that they need. This is actually that is matter. It's not the person about the right. And second one goes first. And when was the one has particular point, if only the mother and the past, not people friend, not people friend. If you know how Paul starts, they might be kind of different. Don't choose, and we are in the job, not belong to NBC or NBC. Only people are in the membership, not more from together. NBC is not people members, NBC is people members. They are not check, they produce it. I've been listening from no. So, for me, that is the first one. Second, that my stories are. See, at the end of the day, I was the start in the community trial, that the multiplicity of suspicions do not constitute. You can just pick up someone more than what as a state discussion. Yes, thank you. There is no suspicion you have, no matter what, it's like always a multitude of suspicions together and constitute proof of that. So, you are investigating, and it can be your story that the person, based on the evidence provided, may be guilty. No one says that the person is being guilty by the court. He or she is not. And that should be actually of the investigation. Once and for investigation. Because the time we should be. We've read the words of some classic investigators or national people like J.D. Watson. All investigations do not take noise or style activities. The thoroughness of your investigations will have to be done in the quiet. And the person, by the time the person does this, you have questions or the person when they cannot, they will say, and that is what we should be looking at. And conclusion, my belief is that if the Delta asset increase was not asked or written about the amount Yoko is putting, I'm sure it is right. You see, or you go at Yoko. Sometimes we need to put people to the law against the state authorities. But Yoko is also sure that he has improperly taken
set an amount from it, and each day support the state rules that let me in measure let's be according to. And when the constitutional authority like prosecutions is the concept of definition surveillance of the law. So I was on talking about Mr. Bond's case, said, if you think out beyond just a single individual, that there are systemic issues, and then talked about the fact that we only get to hear of persons like Mr. Banji because still exposed, but we no idea how many persons of daily business have to do some of these challenges, as for example, as how we could how we deal with the issue of bail. So that I'll ask myself, at some point there will be some merit to narrowing administrative discretion around this thing. Come up with some guidelines, specific ways of saying, situation A, just so that the eyes of the public will not become subjective interpretations of what appears, and we can have some criteria. We can all look at and say, okay, we can see why this is a we can see why this is so. There are those systemic issues that have to be dealt with. We also cannot remove the element of our partisan politics around this issue of resumption of innocence. And also, the former president Ekwado, this way he says, not until you enjoy the law, you will not fully appreciate the importance of due process, right? But we tend to see the partisan element trying to convict people, even before of competence judgment pronouncements about allegations against them, and saying that state actors should not be seen to reinforce that denial of the presumption of innocence. Because if you read a Equal statement that says, we held them because we have significant information and there's 55 million, new information, and then 55 million, and then they will choose social media of an alleged party that belongs to it. You create a mind of person to use that for this. If you make that connection and say, this is the 55 million, that you are saying already. And we have now come to show that look at now straw, the politics will be money. I have also running businesses from my days at University of Ghana, running business from Lebanon, and today they are eating sausage. That's eating from him because he's business big. So now he just public that they think that I can't build a house or a house of this nature until and unless I steal from Ghana. It's not correct. And for me, institutions must not be seen as trying to reinforce such narratives which do not grant citizens that presumption of innocence, right? Because the very citizens who are making such claims on social media, I bet you should they run afoul of the law, would want the law to grant them those same due process rights, those same presumption of innocence. So you are therefore a man. I saw this. I think having 8 out of 10 people say it's uncommon and don't want to support it for retribution. So you say we have to be angry about it. That's not yes, so there has to be oral. Then I say that we have to be angry, have to demand accountability. But my point is that in doing all of that, you also can rob your fellow citizens of that which has been granted by institution, because you find yourself in that situation, you will do those same rights given to you and guaranteed you. And as a actor, I worry that the intentions of inaction may be that denial of the constitutional right to the So that's what for me I'm guarding on that issue. But the other people say that we are picked up institutions when they want to do this against them and ask people who are demonstrating what happened. I can say that crisis of confidence that we face in institutions, right? Again, as captured by Afghan example of those things. The any change that I don't put it primarily on citizens. Yes, I do agree when citizens attack institutions or artisans attack institutions, those sort of that. I think ultimately to solve that conflict, the greater burden, some parties through the actions or inactions, they carry the bigger burden of saying, the way we go about the information we provide to the public, the transparency with which we do things, ensuring that we protect those due process rights. Those are the things that state actors would have to do all the time before to the place where now citizens will begin to have greater institutions. Thank you very much. And also listening to Anadi for a while, Tom Theophilus, Jamina, Engineer Victor Bright, James Kunab Fernia, John Costa from Kuraga. Offense now can't always be several other discussions and keep white and breast fresh all the time. So he's none other than George Shackles. George Shackles is Felix. So maybe I'm some just not very much. They also supposed to be some and one civil line. I'm going to say it's also not so big. Can't stop to face. So George Shackles to face. I'm the trash press all day. Yo, in 80 grams, 1 0. I'm yours today. Bank of Africa, the source of group is close. Having gone to Paris and really some wonderful experience since the system was in the house. Maybe I could be someone this is I've seen a massive reduction in my ideals and also I would pay as much as I used to do when I was relying on my house has become in the hill. This rains so anytime I get off my house when everything is apart and I get as much as 30 to 50 voice my pieces and everything I keep everything well. So I can also trust that the truth the way and the light I have to translate to the light in fact now right now so this cover woman means someone one of nice most friend community is exceeding for everyone's feature and they have this events every business working assets and a make it and the means costs secretary families executives investors and retirees our community office playground and BTS for your peace of experience all to the comfort convenience and community and we links some of it really call 220 or 04570 to really across the road. Do you want to decide? Wait for sound over. I can see your brothers also connect them. Cosmetic resources can enhance your self beauty and your confidence with more effective and radio. Whether you're interested in deepening your voice, salt transformation, and experience to help you achieve dreams. The process begins with consultation where we assess your oral health, systems and goals to create a tailored treatment plan. A smile is primarily focused on improving the appearance of the smile. They also offer functional benefits such as better face alignment, improved chewability, and enhanced overall health. Palladium Residence International isn't just an address. It's a home to meet there. It's your place with just a chance to deposit and choose from beautifully designed modern apartments or spacious townhouses built for everyday comfort. This is one neighborhood. So far, we're in the townhouse, state of the oxygen, and on-site hotel. All the things junction minutes from Martin Motor. Enjoy city or retreat into your private sanctuary. Call now to enjoy it. Benefit from limited reward incentives, including current differential, executive pricing, and flexible payment options available. Don't miss a chance to make the best of it. Enjoy private visit today. 050-8823-424. Palladium Residences. If not, invest better. Not for bringing colors together. And reliable.
Yes.
Welcome to Smith's Essential Capitals in Astonishing such as Steroids, Specimens, Phosphones, Softwares, and Monomers from the smallest to the largest classy, that's enterprise, leave nothing but the best from its branch, plus Honda, Items, and Plus Unlimited. We also sell more and transmit Honda, Mix and Shuttle, and Audioma, and we have started by Brazil, and Protein, and one of the songs. Also, we submit for others, we are located in San Plaza, also, we have velocity teachers, to ice cream, or one of the phone numbers, 239 460, or 094 154 416, or 7240 5493.
Improve chewability and enhance overall health. Happy smile.
With their first, and we've been talking about my shirts. It's from Abel's term. I call them 284 1988, 284 1988. The best chance from Abel's Cooper. And they're talking about cash transfer because it's not just university every month. Yes, after the sons of service, the comprehensive ISIS value for 50+ years. My insurance lifestyle was 5 years ago. It's a strong, it's very, very equal when you start. But let's document and we're going to be very much subject. This is what I can ask one of the benefits for the show is less than 40. So majority minority come to me whether the government should speak and take questions in the process of the media. But not listen to them.
And ability to intervene on the matches as a result of the domestic statistics program. And that is the mobilizing resources in the domestic statistics program. And those are the four system used for intervention. Why is it preventing them? And very story dependent that it is because of the billboard and some new strategies that you have got. Because it is here to make money. That it's as a result of the domestic statistics program. So they have to mobilize these four resources and it doesn't matter. It's because they are afraid. And if that is said, it will become very clear that the responsible for system and body. That is going to change the gap from the belly. So that they will deal to balance the network board and superior strategy. Because I'm not yet to admit on which it started and the steps that can continue with it. Now, further questions on extra losses that central bank is securing. Recently, my bank of scheme, things that comply with to play before plan. They are so knowledge. They invited here, invite NDC party members and members of NDC that to come and announce and state those views here. The Sunday Statistics Department. We are observing more that happening there. They know the government will request answer. They cannot lie. And so they're giving you opportunity to supply that you give it.
And to ask you to table 6 to come out early that the gross reserves as the first quarter was 14 billion. The informal star gathered from the caucus that at the end of 2026, this has dropped to $12 billion. We want to find out from the government. Or we ask him to confirm whether he used the $2 billion for market interventions. That's a simple question we want to consider. Or 266 that meetings committees and the host also a meeting of the committee. So it says that proceedings of a committee shall be held in public except that determined by the committee. So I ask them to convene the entire committee to want to sit in public. And if you don't convene the entire committee, you agree to sit in public. You cannot force the committee to sit in public. And they walk away. They couldn't make to sit in public and rather that walk out and abandon the sessions to not deal with the substantive matters on the floor. They will go on the time to produce sound bites. And those sound bites, we see them on TikTok. And people are living and watching people don't understand the circumstances and the way those money will make and whether they win out or not. So if you open the base community be there. As soon as we know that the issues are discussed with them now, we will get up to think about every subject that is and that is what people watch. And that's what keep the conversation happening. It is the reason we can control. If he's not willing to play by rules, I think the matter that we will not allow him to explain that that's just matters. The first one is the public needs changed by this development.
My opinion with respect to the numbers are yes. I always said that we seem to have this corner of the less public rules, right? I mean, and sometimes it's on very on things that have more points for, let's say, state national security. I know that's the majority that you mentioned.
This one we have on stability.
As an incident, what would the Bank of Ghana, of the central bank, say, right? Or in the never answer to prove it, right? God forbid the media report says that it might crash the system while the gross reserves have dwindled. This one is saying, but for me, it goes back to what I've observed that generally we need to have this culture of misinformation is better, or somebody saying that you want the public to. I recall years back during the station. It was a simple report that went to the public, some of which were online. We just didn't have years online. And I went after 40 then the people was going to use it for. And everything's going on again, that moving that route. I always say that look, it's different everything to a test, right? It has to be a test. And I'm saying that some people have the right to create a culture of great parents. As even we say the committee got clean of eventually, and the honorable minority leader is elected to others. That part to, you know, so it really boils down to more transparency, more information for me. It's always better than trying to find reasons why a public official cannot get free public. When you imagine the US where federal chairman goes before Congress and you have as much as a new partisan, you have all kinds of questions from him, but you need to see the officials being questioned and people over again. So I don't get what you say. I think that for me, the test should not be really what is politically convenient for the majority or the minority. That's really the test. The test for me should be whether there's a specific and demonstrable risk to financial stability, market integrity, confidential confidentiality, or something else. That will allow the public right to know. Very simple. That should be the only thing. If yes, then the affected portion will be confidential. As opposed to be hit, and if no, the discussion should go ahead and be public. So I don't know, because these are questions that were raised, and the answers already, the preliminary responses were already in the other paper anyway. That's right. So unless they were going to delve into follow-up questions that may maybe move into yes, currency, reserving strategies, and central bank, market high, I think it's generally not sensitive. It's good to see how it can be justified. I mean, there are situations where proceedings have to be held in camera, all sorts of reasons. And I just think that I think what I would have preferred would be for the House to first determine which parts of the proceedings were confidential, the legal basis, explain the legal basis for that confidentiality, or whether it's some kind of study or whatever. And when we then subsequently get a public transcript or kind of summary afterwards. That's what I would have done. I just really wish that, I mean, I can stand the position to participate because that may have been interpreted as then, okay with it. But I wish that they had said and participated and protest and then really challenge them efficiently to us. And listen, the House so I'm very thankful for because we need to be carried away by looking away at our rights as a people. And when you look at these things in silos, some of them seem okay or not so serious, but when you put everything together and look at it as a whole, if we take them chicken away, and we don't want to go there. So like I said, it's already been given. They are on paper, they're now going to go through the process of repeating, recording the answers, why it's reduced by so much, why what do you have to hide about the interventions you're making in the market, forex market as well. So why deny the general public access to that life? Let me use your welcome to appeal to my brother here, the people major of that. The idea of working out always, they're elected sometimes. They're elected to win the people, and the ends have their own access battle. And if there's something that they feel that Ghanaians need, so he's not representative, he will fit in here and communicate to people. That's simple. So I do not understand why they work out and work out to the rest. And justify the very reason why the majority is saying this is what you want to do. We take a position, for example. You're talking about the benefits, yes, but you're not willing to accept the disadvantage of the same system to be able to vice versa. Central bank has been explained. The MPC publishing their decisions. Everybody treats the come out of the sessions. Yes, so I agree with my sister that. No, if there is financial risk, we need to be publishing sometimes it's not within the house. We have about Europe. Some of those we about Ghana. There are people very much when we put the way that's a talk about language. And here pockets everywhere. So in effect, I mean, I was like, okay, if the sunshine was so obviously the bank of not all brief. So what do they get? That is from S trying to get all the capital out of this. Sometimes this is what we are going to the bank having need of central information. Remember, if we talk now, yes, about people to talk about now. So this is the words on a potential committee. All but of that of society committee. So it's all right. Making already the answers I'm giving. So why want the media to cover it in the same token? The other part of the answer is from the document. And the media can have full-time control of it. And so if the answers were already on public documents, it was the boycott. All the persons allow the media to see my duty. So we can do majority and case for the truth. Yes, you think that you can do it if you don't into money or not into money, right? Because you think that you have the power. And that is what the NDC is afraid for. That case is making them perpetuate the status quo and forgetting about the rest of the mechanics. When we first came into a multi-national system, we might and such other life, the TOS government for stealing. And when government working, they had excellent because the expectations have been disappointed. He confirmed the transparency which the contract is executed. So if you are only said president or having a advice coming to the whole meeting, whatever Ghana, why then do you mind the minority? Because that the question is exchange defense, the answers are being provided, and the answers were a public document, and so therefore also the enough which the necessity to hold hearing in camera at arms. And that when we say that in camera, or the reason for it to be in camera, that's what my senior brother who saying certain things about minority that, and I felt sad. I forgot my position was my Afghanis were going to be famous. Then I realized that she was caught up in the discussion that politics in that story of governments between the NPP and as well as that governments, that governments as well as we really can't be made up for and those things. So one man, you actually the case of my confidence was people to relate to I would say that it was just the central bank. The capability of the central bank, central security, information from the central bank is a chance. It's a dilemma, it's not that always there. You know, in this case, the minority, because of the education, as I said, the minority, of what goes to that. There is how we can relate that times, I need to develop on the phone. And the minority, that's a value. And then, so, I will share the rest. And what the right. So, and if you have a better person, you can also options instead of engagement has the potential to affect our investor community and communication and so on and so forth. And that line is regime as well in terms of stabilizing our currency. Against it's a class. As we have done it, and we have made it. Denial and the government and the vice president are going to stress or institute it's even strong influence. I said the goal war and it's also being well possible. It's from the goal for all of it. So rather than putting my advice to parliament, constant engagement with the goal of that obsession with the education of the minority and application to equality. Let's meet and go down. You see that? My representatives has people and we are bringing speech. It's very million I'll show it to you by Wayne to trust a home builder. Better dental, the smart last year, culture coach is happy smile and Palladium business. Live smart, invest better. So find out impact bringing you closer to nature. Now listen to the lands minister. Ladies and gentlemen, I represent the Forest Sector. I'm to announce a historical legislation for the Group 2026 to revoke the instruments here and for amended by year 2 effectively ensuring that the achievement of forest in cases original status as forest reserve and provide the ecological situation for Accra and developments. Now to council, think about it. This is the only enhancement and forest cover in Accra. The president is determined to protect those. Achievement of forest has been revoked. And what it means is that those areas are part of it. I'm going to go soon with this. I believe that is what they can do with. However, the president Mahalas believe that people of Ghana deserve an environment that can change all life. That's why we protect the forest. So
Now, the National Government Operations Secretary, NIMS. Mr. Gentleman, the 5 days government remains one of the military authorities in the period of the review. NIMS sustained nationwide operation police legal and house system registered. Mainly Ashanti, Western, North, Eastern, Borno, African, and autonomous operations were executed across 53 districts, recording international agreements over 84% African states. The Secretary conducted 169 operations targeting illegal mining sites, first reserve bodies, and concession encroachments.
If and I have no reason to doubt but we have seen what now persons entrusted state power authority rather than protecting state on the backside of or on the side of everybody else these things to themselves. If you all over and they destroy the village, if you really stay now for it, the critical idea. But tell me how many places don't state I express plans that only feel about their designated persons. We need to be sincere with our commitment to public service. Something, I want to say this, many of our commitments because some people profit from them. But for that, I just want to say that in the sense and the thought and the attitude of trying to make Ghana work for all Ghanaians, let us decouple the political capital from Ghana. Let the commercial capital be taken or remain here. Let the owner outside, not calling for people to go out from there. That's right. I'm not saying it. Right. You have been advanced. Right. Then we can for this. But I had the president of my state. Right. That's looking so, and I'm also streaming and me. People are always talk. We want to see the real action as a formation of our water bodies and everything else. When you talk about them, let's move on. Yeah, I think that a lot of work is being done. I think those on the maybe we have put talking to the late reporters. Maybe we don't say that we are just talking and working. So how that's to just about of it. I think it's all the best news of flooring in John Dramani Mahama one administration. They got a proposal to have a copa for concrete flooring, etc. And there was also the idea from those sites where the original roof from Italy, they were not the one to sell like that chance to go on and so on. The only green you can see. So it is, I think it is good news for it to work now to be with politicians, future politicians, at least see that one. Let's go look from there. I'll see maybe that will help into the yeah, we started one first coming up for business. First is an launch at for private film and urban and but that's significant progress. So me those 3 events is significant and I basically the conditions which are the level actions recruit from the strategies the result police or interest sense interest and and for the best when was okay it was there and then we quietly I will try to really so the case on this as long as the politically connected license remain protected as a still tough affairs that titan and this conflict will be from the ability to and the security payments and there was just focus on the thing people were the victims financial security lifestyles and there are things that appear or pretend to the internship.
I think that this has had a role to the master moment because the process to rezone the place called premise first time and then we hold it and sure it means what it is and so I remember having the risks. I with Tabula. All these things have come as a result of personal interest of some politicians and threatened that at some point we had an outgoing president was interested in kind of fixing them. That's how you kind of have become looking down value system, which is making up as a warning. So when this values break down, it makes democracy very essential and think we should start with that conversation. That state assets should not on the basis of personal interest want to prevent people buy the property so that I have a battle. I think that I'm very happy that I said the master